आप इस मिशन के लिए तैयार हैं? यस सर। क्या बदले के लिए आपका खून खोल रहा है? यस सर। कमांडर्स, who are we? Indian Army sir. Indian Army ने ये जंग शुरू नहीं की थी, but we will bloody hell finish it. Yes sir. How's the Josh? High sir. How's the Josh? High sir. I said how's the Josh? High sir. Good.
What does it take to build a nation? Not slogans, not privilege, but systems, discipline, and the willingness to serve something larger than oneself. In this Republic Day special episode, we speak with Lieutenant General Arun Ananthanarayan, a leader whose journey is marked not just by rank but by service, recognized across every dimension of military life. For strategic leadership, for distinguished service in conflict, for courage under fire, and for sustained excellence over decades. This conversation begins with leadership, how the Indian Army builds clarity, accountability, and efficiency, and how these systems can be replicated in organizations and institutions beyond the uniform. It goes further back into schooling because leadership is not discovered suddenly, it is trained deliberately. And then the conversation shifts into a chilling encounter from Pulwama, Kashmir, where silence becomes communication, training overrides fear, and restraint matters as much as force. Through this story, we glimpse the ethos of the Indian soldier. Precision, responsibility, and the value placed on every innocent life. This episode closes with a deep personal choice. Why walk away from something as prestigious as IIT? The answer is not about what was abandoned, but about what was chosen. The country, the calling, and the belief that Sare Jahan Se Acha is not just a phrase, but a way of life. This is Rebooting the Brain, and this episode is about choosing service over self.
ജ്ഞാനാനന്ദമയം ദേവം നിർമ്മലസ്ഫടികാകൃതിം ആധാരം സർവവിദ്യാനാം ഹയഗ്രീവ ഉപാസ്മഹേ ഹയഗ്രീവ ഉപാസ്മഹേ.
Rebooting the Brain, powered by PRS Neurosciences. Namaste, everybody. Welcome to the next edition of our podcast, Rebooting the Brain. This is a Republic Day 2026 special. And when it is special and connected to the country, obviously we have to have a special guest who has done so much for the country. So before I introduce our guest to you, I want to start with the mantra. Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This shloka has been a big motivator for me right from my childhood. As the shloka says, from darkness to light, from ignorance to enlightenment, and from death to immortality. You can use these messages anywhere in your life and make the most of it and to become a better human being. And why you should become a better human being? Because as you enhance yourself personally, you will enhance the country's prestige, and Viksit Bharat 2047 is going to happen. So before I introduce the guest of the day, some housekeeping rules. Please subscribe to our channel, Rebooting the Brain. It is giving a lot of valuable information. Please share this video and all the other videos that we have on all our social media channels, because we don't know who is going to benefit from what we are sharing, because it's an unfiltered conversation that we are having. Like our videos, and for sure, please do not forget to generously comment, because the comment increases engagement and helps us to reach out to more and more people. We also have Rebooting the Brain podcast. We have Rebooting the Brain book, which is an Amazon bestseller. Please reach out and get a lot of neuroscience and other leadership information that will help you reboot your brain. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the guest of the day, Lieutenant General Retired Arun Ananthanarayan. General Saab, welcome.
Namaskaram and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. But I'm going to get directly into the encounter with him. Sir, you saw the video of the Uri, the surgical strike movie, when everybody's saying, "How's the Josh?" And they said, "Hi, sir." So I don't want to ask you that question, but I want to get you the perspective of when an encounter happens. Is that how you guys do it? What was seen in the movie is real? Care as a picture. I know you've been in an encounter, and what is the balidan, the ultimate sacrifice that you guys talk about?
So modern warfare, whether it is counter-terrorist or conventional adversaries, you have to ensure that you kill the adversary.
Okay.
And you have to ensure that you don't get killed.
Correct.
Both are as important.
Perfect. I agree.
So in modern warfare, stealth and speed are very important. So I have to be next to you, and yet I should not let you know I'm next to you. That is when I can neutralize you.
Correct.
So we can't make a noise.
And you should be smarter than me.
You know, how's the Josh as a motivator in the preparatory stages of combat is priceless. As an armed forces, and now you've seen this culture spread to sporting team games. So the famous huddle,
Correct.
which is started by the rugby teams, which is now grown to our hockey teams, our kabaddi teams,
And cricket also. To some.
cricket, and any other team sport that we see is part of this. It's that last minute when that captain gets that team together and says, "Come on, guys, let's do it." That is the equivalent of How's the Josh.
Got it.
How's the Josh is a cinematic interpretation of that activity that charges the brain and the mind. We don't speak English. Quite simply. Our men who execute the actions are largely Hindi speaking. So how's the Josh? Actually is kya haal hai?
Oh.
And the guy will say Zabardast.
Oh, wow.
But you don't say this close to the enemy.
Of course, then you are sitting
Then
duck.
you're dead.
Yes, you're dead.
You say it far away in your own camps.
Got it.
So
Got it.
cinematic representation, outstanding interpretation. Because
For people like us to.
for anybody.
Yes.
That movie and this line, of course, made the movie make a lot of money.
Correct.
But that's a separate issue.
Correct.
It
But
also
it gave the communication to us.
it energized a nation.
Agreed.
It provided. So I say this very often, and I'll say it here. What is a country and what is a nation? So country is a geographic entity. It's defined by the boundaries that are drawn. But that's not a nation. A nation is a complex interplay. It's a weave of the fibers that are found all over that country.
What
So
do you mean? Example.
What makes a country a nation? First is a common vision.
Okay.
You use the phrase Viksit Bharat.
Correct.
So the day every of the 1.42 odd billion people say, I am going to work towards Viksit Bharat. You have said 2047, but I am willing to forgive them if they don't say 2047. If the vision and destination is clear, either you say Mera Bharat Mahan or you say Viksit Bharat. That's a common vision. When that vision is there, we will be a nation.
Because it has happened here first.
Correct. And here.
God.
And here. Soldiers are here, more than here. So heart, it's an intangible concept,
Correct.
the heart. But it's that extra 25% which you can extract from everybody. That is where success lies.
Got it.
That 25% which you can extract from anybody more, your team member, your colleague, is where success lies.
What do you mean by this 25% extract?
All of us, in any job that we do, we have a cameraman here, we have a sound recordist here, we have a video editor who will edit this video. We have probably somebody who helped you research for the podcast. Everybody in their own definition has done whatever they think is optimal or at a max capacity, which they believe. Now, when you ask them, how much did you work? And they will say 100%.
Just now you asked her and you said yes.
Now, I am arguing that it is 100% of what I think I am capable of. But what I am actually capable of, I probably don't even know. So I need somebody to remind me that you got 85% in this exam. Very good. We will celebrate 85. But son, your potential is actually closer to 93.
So how does somebody like you pick that up? When when the person himself doesn't know, how do you know he's capable of that?
So let's take a student in college. When you ask them, your last semester, did you give 100%? They would say yes. Many students will say yes. Some say no. And they are very easy because they're the gap, they're identifying themselves.
Correct.
But the one who gives 100%, you have to ask them, did you use every available opportunity to research? You could be a postdoctoral research fellow. And the question would be the same. So now you're 28 or 30, you're a PhD, young PhD, and you're working in some research institute or a university. And I could ask you the same question. You may say yes. So now I'm going to then ask you, last semester or last year, academic year, you had these 12 guest speakers who came. And one of whom happened to be a Nobel laureate. How much time did you spend outside the lecture speaking with them? How much time before their lecture did you spend researching their past works so that you could frame the right questions to ask them?
Wow.
It's about stripping the layers of an expert's mind to get into the core which that person has got.
That's what we do at surgery.
That's what you do surgery.
Yes.
Now that surgery,
when we prepare also,
has to be metaphorically stripping the layers.
Agreed.
Has to be done
layer by layer.
When you meet an expert. That expert is not going to come every day.
Correct.
If that expert has taken the time off to come, it's up to us to optimize that. So if you've done that also, then you're very close to 100%. How many days did you go to sleep fatigued in your mind that I can't think anymore? That is 100% for somebody who's doing research. For somebody who's an athlete or a sports person, the question would be, how many days did you just fall down and sleep? You didn't have the energy to take off your t-shirt. That is how much you worked. That is close to 100%. Now, when you analyze each person differently, because I'm arguing that everybody's 100% is different.
Correct.
So I may give 100% and get only 60 marks. You may give 100% and get 82 marks. That does not make me less.
What do you mean?
I've given 100%.
You have given 100%.
I can't give more.
You can't give more.
I can't give more.
Got it.
Tomorrow, if there's another subject, you may get smashed and I may get 85%. That doesn't make you incorrect, wrong, or weak. After all, these are all part of one palm, right?
Correct.
And you're the doctor here in this conversation. You know that each of them serves a purpose. Probably a deeper purpose than somebody like me is aware. So if you were to replace all of this with thumbs, we'd probably fail.
Of course.
Or
even one of them.
Replace all of them with little fingers, we'll fail.
Of course.
So that's how it is. Each serves a purpose.
Yes.
But each has to give 100%. The day the thumb stops giving 100%, this palm or fist becomes weaker. So a leader's job in a organization, leader, head of institution's job, is only and only to identify that 20-25% where efficiency or success lies. I'm arguing that creativity also lies there. Innovation also lies there.
So you're saying in the bottom 80%, these things are not so much, it's more of a mundane day-to-day work.
You will be outstanding at doing the repetitive activity.
Monkey see, monkey do stuff.
I don't want to use the word monkey for somebody who's probably doing a high-tech job. But if there is nothing new that's being done, I mean, you could be a MBA from Wharton or Cornell or the best B schools in the world. You may be outstanding at the job of vice president, strategic planning, and global sales. That may be your designation. Are you taking your company to the next decade? You have that capability, which has been proven in your academic record. Your job is not expecting it. So I'm expecting you to deliver beyond your job. That is that 20%. So if you want to call that person doing the job as monkey see, monkey do, I'll agree with you.
So I'll actually give you the analogy we guys use is neurosurgery. So you have the nervous system.
Yep.
The brain goes down the spinal cord. The bottom of the spinal cord, there's a set of nerves that goes on called the cauda equina. Cauda equina means horse's tail. And then the nerves go out and there's a set of nerves. So I would tell everybody that, and see, when you touch something hot, you have a reflex movement. So that's called a spinal cord level work. When you're not thinking, just reflexly moving, something like what you're saying. So I was telling a professor, head of the department neurosurgery of NIMHANS one day, I was saying, these guys are working at spinal cord level. He said, no, Sharan, in NIMHANS we have gone one level deeper. If this guy is not even doing that level work, the last set of nerves is what controls the urinary, to pass urine, called the pudendal nerve. So we tell them you're working at pudendal level and you understand what. So your capability may be there, but you're just not putting it to work.
It's also about how we structure our organizations.
Okay.
So when it comes to serious motivation, there are two parts to how motivation can work.
Okay.
Now you may argue, where does motivation fit into the equation? Now a highly motivated...
No, I will not. I know motivation is required.
Saying, a highly motivated person or team or organization finds this 20 and 25%. You can find it for yourself on your own, very much possible. The problem is this 20 or 25% keep varying with each task.
Correct. Agreed.
So for each task, this 20-25 has to be continually identified, which is why leadership is a 24/7 job.
Correct. And ongoing.
Now,
Correct.
This 20-25% will only be successful if there are two things.
Okay.
And the base or the foundation, it's like a prep for your surgery. I can't just walk into your OT and say, doc, operate on my brain.
Yeah,
you'll probably say, I have none, which will probably be right. But that's not the point. I'm just saying there is a prep required.
Yes, yes.
That prep is the part that is called hygiene factors.
Okay.
Which is environment.
Okay.
Am I working in a comfortable space? Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, all of the above. Does my organization look out for me? Are my small needs met? Is this too much of nitpicking? Is there too much of office politics? All these, when you start minimizing, you cannot remove them because we are human beings.
Correct.
But you can minimize them. They are hygiene factors being met.
Interesting.
When you meet these hygiene factors, which is the foundation or the prep.
So you're calling that as fundamental foundation.
Yes. Then is when I can come and say, come on guys, let's do it. I want you to give that extra half an hour every day. You're studying 4 hours a day now because you want to prepare for an exam. Let's find that extra half hour. Now I can find that extra half hour with you if I'm able to give you your food in time. If it is warm food, if there's somebody to take care of your laundry, if the rest of the factors are met, then you will walk with me in finding this half hour.
Correct.
Otherwise, I can come and give you a spiel for 2 hours and you will say, awesome conversation, General, and that's the end of the story. So for this motivator to work, the hygiene has to be met.
And all the time.
Continually, different for different things, different for different people.
Oh, so it's not a one size fits all.
It cannot be because we're human beings. We're wired differently.
Whoa, that becomes a full-time job of the company.
That is the job of a leader. Why are you paying a leader top bucks? This is the reason. Nobody in an engineering concern expects the CEO to sit at a machine, a shop floor. He or she is expected to provide an environment where efficiency is optimal continuously.
But I'll tell you, sorry to butt you in, but what I see in many places is the moment they go up there, they think they have been there, done that, and they're just walking around AC room to AC room.
So then no wonder
you agree.
No wonder you use the phrase monkey see, monkey do.
And we get frustrated when we see this.
We need, for an effective leader, no two moments or no two instances should be the same.
That's why I tell all my leadership, you have to be on the ground.
you have to speak to people, you have to feel the pulse.
Correct.
You have to smell the air
Correct.
in a factory and say something is wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Now, those are all hygiene issues.
And you should be able to pick it up like this.
That's leadership.
Yes.
You can't teach this in a B school.
Yes, you can't.
You can only learn it on the ground.
Yes.
So,
Like in neurosurgery, we learn most of it outside the toilet at 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Yes.
so that's my view.
Oh, amazing, amazing.
Sorry, we started from somewhere and
No,
we
it
went
doesn't matter.
somewhere.
No, perfect. I think you gave a perfect hygiene as a starting point for anything that we do. I think we have got a perfect starting point now to see. Now, coming to the, the ultimate, now you're saying they give that half an hour more or they give more than what they're supposed to do. That's like a sacrifice.
Yes.
Sacrifice, because today everybody is talking about a work-life balance, personal life, personal time, personal this, things like that. And without transgressing that, we are releasing some time from their personal mundane work so that they can do more here than anything else. So you spoke on one of your, this one about the ultimate sacrifice, which is the Balidan. And we tell people, please sacrifice your time, please sacrifice. We are telling people in our own way in this whole situation, one day you do this. So, and they look at me like this and say, what is this guy up to? He's having an agenda and things like that. When I heard that from you, I said, this is nothing compared to the kind of Balidan that you guys are looking at. Can you tell us in the armed forces, what does this sacrifice actually mean for you guys?
Okay, I'll
how do you prepare people?
I'll start with my own little.
Sure. Absolutely.
Without I'll keep it very basic. So I've been shot multiple times.
Shot means bullet shot, guys, not film shooting.
Shot and wounded. Did this thought ever come into my mind that I'm going to get shot today? No. Because if that thought is there in your mind, it's like you can't walk into a surgery believing you will fail.
Correct.
I'm giving you analogies of surgery.
Correct.
Because you can, and the audience can connect. You don't go into a test believing you will fail.
Correct.
You prepare. And at the end of it, if that test throws something at you which you don't know, it's a loss. It's a failing and not a failure. I differentiate between failings and failures, and we can talk about that later.
Sure.
Balidan. How does...
We ask everybody sacrifice some time for the company.
One of the
for this,
major things I talk about is the transformation. Now all of us have come from the street. The same street which everybody walks on.
Correct.
How does the armed forces, and I'm talking of the Indian Army in particular because
Correct.
How do you pick up a guy from, a Tamil Brahmin from Secunderabad, put him through training, and then suddenly this boy is transformed to a fighting machine who you now expect will kill people or be willing to be killed?
Agreed.
So this...
I want to know.
Correct. So this transformation...
Unconditionally.
Is a process.
Okay.
It's not an activity. Okay. Which means that it's not like a light switch. You press 3 buttons in my body and I become that person. It doesn't work like that. It's a complex interplay of both body and the mind. So for body, it is that physical fitness. It is that endurance. Like I said, and you put it up on your wall here, we are all capable of much more than we know.
But we know. We ourselves know.
So
correct.
Physically, Doc, I can tell you this. Both of us are approximately 60 years old. But both of us, with a little bit of work, can pick up a 30 to 35 kilo pack on our shoulders and walk 40 kilometers. At the end of that, you will be physically, mentally able to do a complicated surgery.
I have to believe you. I'm still thinking right now.
So,
but maybe if I condition myself.
How do I get you to believe that you can? Is to train you through a process where I expect you to do more and more incrementally. Now, as a kid living in a house with your mom and dad, walking a kilometer or so to a bus stand or an auto rickshaw stand may seem like a hell of a task. Everybody who comes to a military academy, all different military academies, by the time they graduate, have done these speed marches of about 40 kilometers with 40 kgs.
Really?
Yes.
40 kilometers is 40 kilos?
Yes.
What is the speed march now on top of all that?
Speed march is a timed, it's a competitive event.
Oh,
So,
that means you can't take your own time.
Yeah, you can't. It's not like walking in the park.
Got it.
So it's competitive. And you're also carrying, big complex weapons and things like that. So they add to the weight and complexity. It's also hot, you're fatigued. Now, physical fatigue happens to everybody.
Correct.
And it happens within 0 to 5 kilometers to everybody.
Okay.
After that, it's your mind which tells you don't stop, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the stronger your mind becomes, the longer you can go. In a team activity, the stronger your mind becomes, the more you're capable of taking me along with you.
Correct.
The stronger your mind becomes, you can not just take me, you can take both your cameramen also with you.
Take more and more people.
3 people are going, the 4th guy will say, these 3 do it, I'm also doing it. Now the team guy then says, I can't give up for the sake of the team, because if I stop, they will not get the position that is due to them. So now that last 10% I am doing it not from my energy, but from the want to respect the team. So I will keep doing it.
It becomes beyond you.
So that the I becomes insignificant, the we becomes more important.
Wow.
So replace the I with the we.
So this is what the armed forces teaches
you. You replace the mine with the our. It's not my company, it's our
company. Got it.
So when you speak to CEOs of large companies, the more often they use the word we, the more likely they are to succeed. The more they use the word I, the less likely they are to succeed. Especially in team activities. That's one. 2 is a visualization of the activity that is to ensue. You do this in surgery. We advocated for sports people at various levels. So if you're a pole vaulter, you're imagining those steps. 1, 2, 3 long, 1, 2, 3 longer, 1, 2, 3 stretch, down, pole, jump, push up, go across. Every little breath, step, angle of, the toe, waist pulled in, every possible thing is imagined. So you do it multiple times.
I do that for my surgery.
You're also teaching the muscles.
Correct. Because sometimes you start doing that unconsciously.
You will do. So this visualization is very important. Now, as a leader, you have to visualize not just yours, but the entire team. So you must know at exactly 12 kilometers, this is likely to happen. So I have to put my arm around that kid and say, how can we help you now? Because if that kid starts falling back, the entire team will start falling back. And then we will all be underperforming. Now the beauty is that we teach people that I'm 1, you are 1, you are 1. And we are 40. So technically we should be 40. 1 plus 1 plus 1, 40 times 40. But the output should be closer to 60. So, it's also called synergy. So where it's not 1 plus 1 plus 1, it's an exponential increase in efficiency. This we learn by doing it.
So the geese in that thing when they fly.
Correct. The other thing, your strengths will cater for my weakness. And my strengths will cater for his weakness. And so on and so forth within the whole team. So therefore, when we are 40, we are whole. When we are 38, we are incomplete. So anything that you are extraordinarily good at, we exploit those skills of yours. Anything that I am not so great at, you support me so that I become at least the acceptable level, because I have a skill which you will use later on.
Correct.
And when that time comes, I am ready to deliver at that skill where you may not be outstanding.
Correct.
But I am doing it for the team. Now, these are some things which happen. Then, of course, there is this intangible concept of, in Hindi, it's called Naam, Namak, Nishan. Now, Naam, Namak, Nishan, Naam is name. Namak is salt. Nishan is a symbol. But it is not that. It is not just these 3 words. The implication of these 3 words is the intangible cement that's poured into the fabric of what we call teamwork that makes it an indefeatable unit.
Can you sort of explain that in English? Like in the sense, when I say you're saying that, but for the sake of the audience, what is this?
So the same thing is what makes a nation.
Okay.
So when you pour the spirit of nationalism into this fabric which is our country, it becomes a nation. So when every Indian starts thinking ki mera Bharat Mahan or Viksit Bharat. So I'm now doing this. So I will not throw litter on the road because I want to get closer to Viksit Bharat.
Correct. Wow, what an example. I think everybody should see, because we see people in big cars doing that.
So what is Swachh Bharat?
Same thing.
Swachh Bharat is not cleaning India. Swachh Bharat, the foundation level is that not dirtying India in the first place.
Correct.
Now my argument is, if you do not dirty India, you don't need to clean
Clean
it.
India. Correct.
It's a very clean country on its own.
Correct.
But
we are dirtying it.
Because you throw that packet of chips, or you throw a biscuit wrapper.
And educated people are doing this.
Educated people, my argument of those of us who live in the city are more guilty than those who live within the lap of nature.
Correct.
That's a separate argument. We will not talk about that. But the same thing is applied within a unit.
Okay.
Every unit has an identity. Now, I will dig into the depths of my body, mind and soul to ensure that the name of that unit does not get damaged.
Correct. Yeah. Reputation.
That is Nam.
Now I got it.
Namak is loyalty. I am in an employment. I own this company. So I ask people when I go to conduct my sessions, why are you not wearing an identity card? Is that because you're a senior vice president? You don't need to wear it. Would you accept it if none of your employees wore it? Were you expecting that person to wear it? Please wear it. The moment you wear it, you don't have to tell somebody to wear it. They will start wearing it on their own.
People do what you do, not what you tell them to.
Correct. So therefore, it's about time. If the office time is 9 o'clock, you start working at 9. Because you're a senior person, does not give you the liberty or the freedom to walk in at 9:30. 9 is 9 for everybody. In fact, if you are the first to come and the last to go, your efficiencies will grow as an organization. You don't need to go late, but you must do your work in time. That's more important. But Namak is about loyalty. That I have a problem at home which I need to solve, but I have this major event in the office which I have to do. I'm conflicting between balancing the two. The more I'm conflicting between balancing the two, the more I am conscious of my loyalty to the organization. This is where a leader comes in. And the leader must tell this person, you need to take your mother to the hospital this whole week. Every day your appointment is at 4 in the evening. Please leave at 3:30. I am not penalizing you for it. There will be no monetary deductions. Go and look after your mom. It's 1 week. You go. Somebody else will do your share of the job for today. This is leadership. But this will happen if the leader knows. And I will tell that leader only if I trust that leader. And I will trust that leader only if that leader talks to me fairly regularly. You cannot be sitting in an ivory tower. Then I will not tell you.
Correct.
Then
there's no access to a...
Then the choice that I will make is that I will go and look after my mother without a conflict that the office work is not being done. We don't do that at all. That is Namak.
Got it. That's what we said. No, why are you cheating the Namak from
Correct.
where you ate? That's right. It comes from there.
So it's like in Hindi, there's that phrase ki aapka namak hai.
Correct.
So I've eaten your salt, so I'm loyalty. So that's the concept is loyalty.
Got it. Loyalty.
And loyalty is never to the leader. Loyalty is to Bharat.
That's the ultimate loyalty.
Viksit Bharat. So now Bharat is an intangible concept.
Correct.
Hai na?
Correct.
It could mean different things to everybody. At the baseline, a soldier thinks, am I doing the correct thing? Principles. You started with a sloka, right?
Correct.
And that actually summarized from here to eternity. Immortality, what do I do? How do I do? You live by your values. That is the second one. Nishan is my unit. I'm from the 8th Battalion of the Grenadiers. Grenadiers is my regiment. I'm from the 8th Battalion. I will die. But the flag of 8 Grenadiers will not touch the ground. I cannot do more. I cannot do more, right? I can only die. What more can I do? So before that flag touches the ground, I would have died. Only then it will touch the ground. Now, touching the ground is a metaphor for achieving success.
Oh, okay.
It's not physically that you don't carry a flag into battle anymore. In the olden days, they did. Now we don't carry a flag into battle. But I'm saying the name of my unit, the fame of my unit,
It's not going to the mitti.
before it gets sullied, I should have made the ultimate sacrifice. These are the what I call the basis. Now, at the end of this, at the apex, and this is getting more pronounced each day, what I'm saying has held good from time immemorial.
Correct.
In the modern times, there is an interesting paradigm shift towards the achievement of these objectives, and that is leadership. Is my leader inspiring enough for me to do all of this?
All the Namak Nishan.
Is the leader created a team which generates this spirit in each of the members?
Correct.
Now, this is a purely leadership function.
Correct.
Now, if you're an objective, clinical office where, I log in at whatever time and log out at whatever time, and what I do, what I'm going through is nobody else's business. Impossible. There are individuals working there. There is no team.
Working together separately.
So this is the synergy that we try and build. This is the transformation that takes place. Now, is it finite? Can I say that this transformation starts the day I join my training and finishes the day my training finishes?
No.
That is the foundation. It starts getting built because when I'm training, I'm not in my unit.
Correct.
But all these values,
it's like net practice.
these values have got built into me.
Correct.
Now, I don't have a name or a culture of that unit which I'm going to be part of. But when I get commissioned as an officer and go, that blank space gets filled. It's like Excel sheet that, field number 17 gets filled.
Correct.
Now, I have it's 8 Grenadiers or 8th Battalion the Grenadiers. So, I know now. Then I learn more and more about that unit. So, does it finish in my first 2 years of service? No. Does it finish when I retire from service?
No, I don't think so.
What does it look like? I've been wearing a uniform for 42 years.
I can see that even that thing in your eyes.
It doesn't go. It doesn't go because we teach both body, the physical body and the not physical body. That's loosely called the heart.
It's in the DNA or all you can get.
Yeah, so I constantly keep saying, in the medical sense, in the physiological sense, DNA is inherited and you're born with it and you cannot alter it. But in a metaphorical sense, when you look at it from a leadership perspective, DNA of a leader can be altered through education, through continuous practice, and through belief. We try and do all of this. Do we succeed always? No. But there is nobody or nothing which succeeds all the time.
Because we learn more from failure also.
Correct.
Yes.
Now we come to that last bit about failures and failings.
No, but it's very powerful. Actually, when you started, I thought I got what you were saying. But when you went deeper, I had an organization. It was just, whoa. Suddenly it hit me to say that I really got what you're saying. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Got it.
We're all very poor at handling feelings in a generic sense. But the living being is designed for failing.
Correct. I agree.
Now, the best example I can give your viewers is that of a child. A small child at 6 months struggles to probably turn. Struggles. Tries many times and fails. Doesn't give up. Doesn't give up. Will turn.
Correct.
And when that child turns, is a big celebration.
Correct.
The entire neighborhood will come and watch that child turn.
Correct.
And when the entire neighborhood comes, the child will not turn. Yeah, that's how it is.
Correct.
Couple of months later, the child holds something on the side of the wall and stands up, wobbly, stands up. Probably takes one little tentative step and falls down, cries.
Correct.
3 months later, there are little footsteps walking around, with support, without support. And that is a special, awesome, photo shoot.
Correct. Video.
Yeah. But that, in modern time, it is
Correct.
shared on Insta, whatever else. It's a celebration. You can keep increasing this till that kid drives a car now. Now, in between, there are multiple failings. The child doesn't take them to heart. But when the same thing happens in a school or a college in a subject, what happens to the child?
You're beaten up saying that you should not fail.
Correct.
Failure is wrong, bad.
My argument or my differentiation between a failing and a failure. Failings will happen continually. Those of us, or in those instances where we say, okay, I failed. Let me look back and see why I failed. So you could say, I did not give this paper the discipline and time that is required to study. I thought it will happen. It didn't happen. Mistake. I studied the wrong things. I didn't study at all. I didn't study. Any of these could be. You could transfer that to a game, to a race, to a boxing match, to anything at all, to a project. If you are willing to review and learn from why you failed and attempt the same thing again and conquer that thing in which you failed, that failing is actually a blessing for you. It's a learning.
Correct.
But there is a category of people, or there's a category of instances where you say, yeah, this exam was in Hindi. I failed. I'm not going to study Hindi.
You sort of run away from that.
That is a failure.
And why would that happen?
Multiple reasons.
Okay.
Multiple reasons. You may never know why it's happened because you were not willing to review it.
Okay.
You may have been willing to review it, but you are not willing to learn new things. You may have learned what to do, but you're unwilling to put in the effort to do it. It could be any or all of these.
Amazing. Agreed. So, any of these.
Children run away from mathematics.
Correct.
Lots of children in India particularly run away from mathematics in the modern day because of this. Now, my argument is, failings will teach you far more than successes can teach you. Failure in anybody's initial years is your best companion. Celebrate that failing.
Failing.
That is when you will learn.
Correct.
If you're only succeeding always, please remember that failing can come at any time to anybody.
Correct. And people may get...
It is better if the younger surgeons assisting you in a surgery fail in the preparatory or rehearsal time. And then they realize,
the simulation
I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. Let's try again. Let's do a different method. That learning is from that failing. Now that failing shouldn't happen at the table. The consequences are dire. So we want that failing to happen there. The other thing is, from one person's failing, the community learns.
Can learn. Should learn.
If you are willing to accept that you were failure at that time, talk about it in public and tell them this is what you need to do to overcome that failing.
Don't do what I did.
That is when Viksit Bharat will happen before 2047. As a nation, this is a metaphor. But as an individual,
so unless the small people do it correctly, the larger thing will not happen.
Don't accept the failings as you. Don't allow others to identify you with that failing. If they do that, then you become a failure. They should say, kya baat hai yaar, this chap, he did not succeed 3 times, but the 4th time he came like a king. That is what people should talk about. And that is how it works. So for this, there are issues of tenacity, there's issues of, resilience, there's issues of mental perseverance. These are qualities, again, in the army, we try and teach
How
them.
do you, I was just going to ask you that question. So before I go to ask this question, so just to complete this failing. So many times people just run away, give up. What do you want to tell them? In a sense that they think that I'm not good enough. See, the fundamental thing is I'm not good enough.
I've put it here. It's right here.
But how do they know their destiny?
That is where the
leader comes back again.
Leader,
Yeah.
the teacher, the mentor. See, teachers in a classroom should not be bound by chapter 1 to chapter 17.
I was just going to say that. Syllabus khatam karna.
So, their job is not a single dimension, chapter 1 to chapter 7.
Correct.
Of course, that is the core. You are
Correct.
not taking that away. Your job is to transfer that content to the brain of the student.
Correct.
That is your prime
Correct.
job.
Correct.
But it's 360 degrees. It's 360 degrees in 3 dimension. So it's like a spinning dynamic 360 degrees.
And also dynamic.
Now, the magic is if there are 42 students in your class, there are 42 dynamic 360 degrees spinning. And with each spin, even if one has spun, let's assume for a moment, for argument, that the 39 are static at this moment, only yours has spun. So my requirement to handle you for that spin has changed.
Correct.
Your responses have changed.
Correct.
But it has also changed the dynamics of the group of 40. So I have to understand the group's effect and also yours. So teacher is a god. You have been vested with the power to create the future. I keep talking to teachers and I tell them, what do you do? So somebody will say, I teach physics, I teach biochemistry, I teach, molecular, whatever, I teach ABC. So the question is, who teaches young humans? Your job cannot be bound by that marketing textbook. You have to talk to me about life. You have to talk to me about what my potential is, which you should be able to see. I may not see. You have to also tell me, how do I fulfill that potential? Currently, I'm handicapped. I come from a small town. I don't speak English. I'm a little shy in college. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not a great public speaker. I may have the potential to be one. Please tell me. But if you say, sir, it is not there in chapter 1, section 2 of marketing, then, then you're not doing your job as a teacher.
No, but I'm going to push back, General Saab. See, I'll tell you what I'm getting from what you're saying. Who teaches the teacher? Now we are assuming this teacher just because he's teacher.
Who teaches?
Huh. So, I mean, you can't blame the teacher because he's just...
I'm not blaming the teacher.
No. I'm not saying you're blaming. I'm trying to understand now that it's a multi-layered stuff. How do we
When we want to build Bharat, a fantastic place to start is our schools.
Correct. Which I agree. Completely I agree.
So therefore, we need to invest in how we treat teachers. We need to facilitate and help them with the teaching process itself. We need to constantly remind them, I'm not saying teach them, remind them of their larger role and responsibility as a teacher than just a geography teacher or a mathematics teacher. And we need to do it constantly. The principal,
who is supposed to be their leader,
need not be a great teacher. Now, this may sound like a very stupid statement.
Oxymoron.
If you have a great teacher and you promote that teacher as a principal, and that teacher does not have good qualities of a principal, you have burnt your candle at both ends. You've lost a great teacher and you have a terrible principal.
Happened to Sachin Tendulkar, for example.
Anybody.
No, I'm just giving as an example.
Yes.
Then when he realized that he's not a good captain and he just said, that's how it is.
The best players may not be the best captains.
Yes. That's what I meant.
So, I know our education system mandates that a principal or a headmistress must do some amount of teaching hours per week, which is fine. But my argument is that, if that principal, any case, is knowing enough about the teacher and her students or his students, there's no requirement to teach. The principal has to be able to see where is that 20% which I can catch from each
The
of them.
same leader.
Which, correct.
Ah.
That is what you need. Our principals have to become better leaders to help our teachers become better teachers. The management also has a role. So when this happens as a focused effort, we will see the changes happening.
No, I think you have hit the nail on that. I am getting it right now to say that on one side you're impacting the company like ours to do this, everything else. But then if the raw materials have come in the wrong place, then we have to fix that first before going. And you're also saying parallelly do that so that the next generation coming in have a higher starting point than the current generation coming in. Then we can build faster, hopefully with every.
So we've got some figures, which we look at when we look at national planning. So in terms of population, somewhere around 2063 or thereabouts, mid 2060, we are looking at India's population peaking at about 1.69 billion.
Correct.
Yeah, from where it will start tapering off.
Correct. I have heard that.
Yeah, and by 2100, our population will be twice that of China's.
Really?
Or China's population will be half
of.
that of ours. Now, with the size of their GDP and a half population, look at the GDP per person. Real wealth lies when the GDP is distributed equally amongst everybody. That's one bit. Second bit is by 2070, we are forecasted to be at about $56 trillion. It could be off by 10%. You'll still be about $50 trillion, which is a lot of money. That's a forecast. Now, if you say, okay, that's the forecast, which means that is the capability of the country, what is it that I need to do to fulfill that forecast or to fulfill that prophecy, whatever you want to call it? Currently, some may argue that it is a far-fetched prophecy. Fine, so be it. But that is a prophecy, right? I have thrown the dart at that point on the wall. Now I am asking you to get to that wall. What will it take you?
Correct.
Now, if you answer these questions, you will get health, you will get social factors, you will get education, you will get industry, you will get employment, you will get better organized infrastructure and systems. All of these will flow out. You cannot build one and ignore the other.
Correct.
We build them all.
All. And at the same time.
At the same time, of course, we have huge challenges in doing this. We can talk about those separately. Those would probably be the barriers to how do we get to that landmark. After all, every vision of every industrialist, and I'm hoping that every industrialist has a short, medium and long-term vision. Many of them have the short one. I'm not so sure about the long-term one.
And that vision should never be money. That's what I say. Yeah, exactly.
So when you translate it to Viksit Bharat, then what you do and how you do changes.
Correct.
If that is just...
Because Swachh Bharat is not money.
It's not money. It's not money. So if that person decides to every day speak to his or her employees, don't throw the smallest amount of garbage outside. It doesn't matter. I've got only 200 employees and they're living in 200 places in the city. These 200 will not throw. And if everybody did that, you will have nothing to clean.
Correct.
Simple.
Yes.
And I keep telling this in all my sessions, I'm asking your viewers to do it. Imagine if in Bangalore city, for 3 days, nobody threw a piece of paper, a cigarette butt, a plastic or anything else
bottle
on the road.
Or anywhere.
On the road. Put it in a bin.
No.
Don't put it on the road. See how clean the city will be. BBMP will have so many more things to do to beautify the city.
Correct.
Rather than cleaning and sweeping.
Correct. Well said. Agreed.
So this is all that we need to do. But this comes from education. Constantly. And the motive is Viksit Bharat. I want to build Bharat. Constantly we forget very easily. So these reminders are very, 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 very important. So do our politicians play a role in this? 100%. Do our bureaucrats play a role in this? 100%. Does civil society play a role in this? 100%. Do industrialists, large employers play a role? 100%. Do women play a role in this? 500%, much more than men.
Why do you say that? Or the woman will say, you're putting more pressure on us, these men will keep dirtying the place.
That
And-
man was a child once and grew up watching his mother more than watching his father, most of the time.
Correct. Agreed.
That's why women. And that is why they say, when you educate a woman, you change a family.
Correct.
It's not true of the men. Of
Mm.
course, it's true of many men. But these are, generic statements. So women in villages, if a village starts becoming cleaner, it is generally because of the women folk. Because they are available, they are there. They will guide their children not to do this, not to do this, not to do this. It does not happen.
Very well said.
That's how it works.
I got it. Amazing. So we have to fix it at multiple. So these are the barriers. So can we call these the barriers to Viksit Bharat 2047, saying that
Of course.
unless this mindset changes, unless
course.
this thing for excellence changes, unless we create the hygiene.
So I have a request for our Honorable Prime Minister.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll get to hear it through our medium, but I have a request.
Let's put out in the universe. Somebody may
And the request is very simple. We have and amongst the outstanding things that he has spoken about and envisioned and visualized, Viksit Bharat 2047 is also one such.
Correct.
Which has come from the Prime Minister's office.
Correct.
Now the request is, you've shown me a destination as a citizen of 1.42 billion. I'm saying you've shown me the destination. Please also show me the way to that destination. Which means that through the government machinery, everybody should tell everybody to get to Viksit Bharat, what are you expected to do?
As an individual.
As an individual. So as a student, as an apprentice in a cycle factory, as an intern in a law firm, as somebody in a fintech company, as somebody who's making fertilizers, as somebody who's making drones, as somebody who's in the army. What does the nation expect of me to get to Viksit Bharat?
So we as a group.
So
get
I'm
to
not
Viksit Bharat.
asking you, doctor, what are you doing? I know what I have to do, and I'm doing at least 80% of that. That is more than enough. Imagine if 1.42 billion people
Amazing.
do 80% of what is expected.
Oh, it's magical.
Viksit Bharat will happen in 2040, not 2047.
Correct.
So this is my small request. The sooner it comes, the better for all of us. This is one barrier. What am I expected to do? That's one barrier. The second barrier is more emotional rather than physical.
So I want, before you come to that, now to counter this, I'm going to say, just as our devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Now, one prime minister, one bureaucrat, whoever it is, has to drive it down top down. What if we say, now that we have an idea what Viksit Bharat is supposed to be, because we have other developed countries to sort of reference it, and if we take the best out of that, why can't you and me as leaders in our own way at least get started, and as the vision starts coming down, we can alter ourselves if necessary, because we will not be so much off the mark at least. Is that a fair pushback that I'm having?
Numbers.
What numbers?
What's the percentage of people in India who are educated enough to carve for themselves a separate vision from this larger vision? So look at it this way, Dr. Saab. When you go to these big companies, multinational corporations, there's a huge, nicely crafted, some fancy MBA English has crafted a cute vision statement to be the best engineering company in the world.
I got what is
great vision. Great vision to be the best engineering company. Okay, best engineering company manufacturing ball bearings in the world. That's the vision. What is it that Arun does to fulfill that vision? I'm a driver.
I got it. I got what
you have to tell me.
I got that. And I'm failing in my own company, I'm telling you. In my own company, when we go down to the ground, a brand new person who's joined in has no clue what's going on here. He thinks he's coming as a job as a physiotherapist or something, and they're just doing some work. We try our best, but we have gaps.
So those of us who have the benefit of education, and I'm saying the benefit, luxury of having been educated, I keep saying this. there is absolutely no difference in the grey matter or the potential between us and anybody else. We were fortunate to have benefited from either standing in the right queue or in the right company or having the right kind of parents or having the right kind of environment at the right kind of time. They did not.
Agreed.
So while you can find your own way, they cannot find their way.
They should be guided.
Now, why am I requesting the Prime Minister? Because of the forceful nature of his personality, because of the fact that when he talks,
Even people like us,
millions,
yeah, yes.
millions and millions people listen. It's transmitted very easily. It's transmitted across languages, across demographies, across cultures. It permeates very fast. That does not stop any of us who's capable of curating our own little vision to sustain this vision from doing it.
But you can't replace that.
You can't replace that.
Well said.
Now, when
I
I'm
got it.
saying the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister's office executes the job of governance or transmission of information through that complex machinery which is called the bureaucracy, the public servants, the government offices, right down to the PDS stores or the ration shop or the primary health center or the government schools or the state government, or down to the Zilla Parishad offices. This kind of a reach nobody else has got. We cannot replace it. So we saw the efficiency of the system during COVID.
COVID. Yes. That's a brilliant example actually how we pulled it off.
While we could have given the job of managing and distributing the medicine and taking care to anybody else, with a large presence, the fact is there is nobody in this country with a larger presence than the government.
No, I think you hit the nail on the COVID. COVID was a classical example.
So you had a central committee at the apex level which monitored it, which took the strategic decisions, broke it down, and then at the state level it got implemented with minor modifications as applicable to each state. And the lowermost functionary in this channel was probably that midwife or the nurse sitting in a village which had
lot
only
of people. Yes.
10 houses.
Yes. Agreed.
So we use that and a combination of technology that is available
Correct.
to overcome that. Now I'm saying let's use that model successful and replicate it for other things.
Agreed. I think now I've subscribed to what you're saying.
I am even
Yes,
willing to
yes.
argue that the next thing I think in these barriers is education. We have such a beautiful model of COVID on a small scale. Can we give it the muscle using a combination of private schools, industry, and the existing machinery to also ramp up this education standards? Now, I don't care what the education standards are. Now, I'm saying across our country, all 10th class students must be capable of the same output.
Irrespective of where they studied.
Today, it's not so.
It's not so. Agreed.
So then when you as a doctor say, okay, this person is class 12 pass or this person is MBBS pass, from wherever in our country that person is an MBBS, their capabilities should be the same.
It's not high. It's not true.
It can't be. We should change that. And for that, we need to use all of these together. The role of...
I mean, the army can do that. Again, as an example.
but the
Army is a subset.
Yeah, but the army's role is something else.
No. What I'm saying is, for the same human beings who get into the armed forces, if you guys are able to put a system in place, we should be able to replicate that in a non-armed forces situation.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Completely possible, which is, anything that I'm telling you now has not been learned from a B school.
Correct. Which is why I'm talking to you. Yes.
It's learned from doing it.
Correct.
And it's learned from managing diverse sets of people in diverse sets of environments to deliver at the cutting edge where it might involve, putting themselves at bodily risk and making the ultimate sacrifice of dying.
I don't think every specialty has that.
None.
Every field. None. Correct.
Because I may not know these men. Please understand. I walk in.
Repeat.
One is I have a team of 100 whom I have trained with, lived with for 5-6 years. It becomes a little easier. I may become the commanding officer of a special forces unit and be tasked to do the same job and not know any of these men 1 month back.
Correct.
And it still happens. the delivery still happens. Because we all swear by the same standards, we swear broadly by the same processes, we swear by the same loyalty to Bharat. So it's a given. So is it possible? 100%.
100% possible.
With a little modifications.
Correct.
With a little modifications, definitely possible. So education, what's my view on education? How many schools do you think?
Especially now you are in the education sector.
I do
or-
some work in
what
education.
about? So
I
you
try
are-
and do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you have an insider view of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Now my argument is, no, my question is, how many rich schools in Bangalore city where we are now sitting?
Lots of them.
300?
Maybe more.
500.
Okay.
Okay, let's take it 500. How many of these 500 schools have adopted a rural school?
I have no idea.
How do you think of this as an idea?
A brilliant idea.
Now, what is this definition of adoption? At the end of 1 year, you have let us say you collect any academic material that has been used by a student and left over. Academic material, I'm saying, that starts from uniform to an eraser that is half, to shoes, to
Back to everything else. Tons
you
back,
name it.
whatever.
Textbook, notebook, compass box, whatever is used. Is
Usable condition.
donatable by the student and is usable by somebody else. You have the benefit of having the best teachers. Somebody is gone to Harvard to do a course. Somebody is going to National Institute of Education to do a course. So they've curated outstanding lesson plans. They've got the best audio-visual format to impart a lesson.
Correct.
That's used. You used it for the first time. I'm not saying give it to me when it is new, but you've used it for 1 year. Imagine if you are able to share all of this with a school of your choice in rural India which you adopt.
Amazing.
So that rural teacher now doesn't have to look for NCRT or CBSE to give that next presentation. He or she is getting it as curated by X school. Now the teacher in that X school also becomes a mentor in that teacher in that supposedly smaller school. So you share best practices and ABC. Suddenly that kid from there is also studying or referring to the same websites which this kid is using, and you will get your next Madam Curie from there, or Dr. Hargobind Khurana, or anybody else. So these are innovative ways of overcoming these hurdles. If we sit back and say we are such a big country, we are so diverse, and we are politically so much at war with each other, and this is not going to happen, it will not happen.
No, I don't think it's at the political level. Each of us as individuals decide to do that, and I think
Direction.
implement.
See, the
I
fact
think
is,
so. I think so.
by culture we like leaders. As a culture, we like leaders.
Correct. And to make the decision.
We also like our gods.
Correct.
We also like our heroes. Sportsperson, film star.
Correct.
Do they therefore have a larger responsibility towards Viksit Bharat? 100%.
Yes,
And for that, each time we held them accountable.
Correct. Agreed. They're all way there because people like us have, made them there.
Correct. And therefore, this message of transmitting what we can do for Viksit Bharat, not for a particular political dispensation in power, is far more important than anything else. So when the government makes a request to somebody, I want you to come and, spread the message of polio. One of the major reasons we conquered polio, probably, or not conquered, but we, to a very large extent, we eradicated polio at that time. Now, of course, there are a few cases here and there, but we will be able to curb it.
Correct.
Was because we used a very, very prominent film star in the dissemination of the how to combat polio campaign. That's one film star, one issue. How many issues do we have?
We have more film stars than the issues.
So let us.
If you take all stars, cricket stars and everything.
I'm saying that's just one way. But there are multiple. So you cannot do one thing. We have to. That is why I think at the strategic level, we need somebody to sit back and say, the Honorable Prime Minister has given me this, this point in the future. Is that 2047? For want of a date, let us say 15th August 2047.
Correct.
No, let us say 16th August. One day after it finishes. That's the date. You have a date also. You want to be Viksit Bharat that day, but first I want to know what is the definition of Viksit Bharat for me. Now, you can say that a GDP of so much. Then that job is for the economists to transfer and give it to the people who handle money and all. They will do their own little activities.
What does it mean for me?
It's for somebody else who say education, this is that brick. It's like that spinal cord example you gave. It comes down and then breaks into a horse's tail and becomes. So we got to break it down into those million components. And all those million components have to work like a finely tuned,
Correct.
Violin or piano
And in symphony.
or a concert.
Correct. Correct.
That is how we will get to Viksit Bharat. All these, when you sit back and look at the barrier, you will say, goodness, 1.5 billion and growing, how the hell will I make it happen?
But COVID is a classical
So
example.
break it. Don't look at that entire problem. You say you're a doctor. There's a family of doctors who are an expert in dispensing health and medical care. Give it to you. You only look at health and medical. I will look at education. I will look at industry. I will look at employment. I will look at exports. I will look at fisheries. I will look at environment. We have all these ministries. They're there. But it's very difficult for us and unfair to expect the ministry to do everything. Like I said, all of us have a role. But I want the environment ministry to tell me, boss, tell me my role. Na? We're telling everybody, plant a tree, plant a tree. Are we telling somebody, don't cut a tree? Are we penalizing the felling of wood?
No.
We are saying that, for a balance, we must have about 30% forest cover. We are also saying that at the time of independence, we were 33.3% forest cover. But there are places in India now which are 10% forest cover. Why are we felling forests? Look at the use of technology in agriculture. When you look at yield per acre, for a multitude of food grains, we are much lower than the world's best.
Correct.
We may be better than the world's average, but we are also the most populous country in the world. We are consuming the maximum food. We need to grow it. So, Atmanirbhar or self-sustenance is one. But I'm not looking at it from self-sustenance because it's a very lofty goal. I'm simply saying I'm a farmer, I have X holding of land, I'm growing potatoes. A farmer in another part of the world is having similar land and he's growing 5 times potatoes I'm growing. Okay, you can argue that, his temperature conditions are more conducive to potatoes, A, B, C. So tell me what I can grow.
Correct. Or how much I can make the potato with all variables
Give me that
remaining
technology. The Japanese do this very well. But the Chinese are also learning. There are specific countries which do outstanding things. We don't even grow the maximum number of oranges in the world or pineapples. Or these are countries which have started much later, but they've optimized the use of tech, information, education, enterprise, industry, finance backup, cold chain creations. There are multiple things, but that's for an expert. I'm not an expert. So you get that expert and tell him, boss, this is your job. Yeah. Tum batao na. So that every wheat farmer in India knows what he or she must do to get to Viksit Bharat.
Correct.
Not to make more money in today's harvest. You must make money.
Correct.
You must.
But the money becomes a byproduct. When you're going the larger vision, this will keep coming.
You must make
Correct.
money.
I agree with you.
And enough money to live well, because we want that also.
Correct.
But this is the goal. So education, I think, is critical. And so the barriers, we can keep talking about barriers, but we should never see barriers as in their entire manifestation. That is not a monster either you or I or any organization can conquer. We have to break it down, isolate it, and solve each puzzle separately. At some point in time, we'll put them together so that the puzzle gets solved.
So I'll use the army example to get you to do this, because I've seen you doing that. Is that encounter that you had and how you guys handled that? Because that was a barrier, that was a problem. You guys studied the whole situation. You made your micro moves, and then you know how it has to be done. So can you tell our viewers that encounter that you were personally a part of in Jammu and Kashmir, how you guys actually went through that whole... No, I think in fact, the amount of notes that I made on that, extremely valuable, because all of us have terrorists in our mind, terrorists around. When I say terrorists, I'm saying about something that's stopping us, or even sullying the waters or making a mess out of it. I'm not saying terrorists as a jihadi or something. That's not what I'm saying. So if each of us understand how you move as a team, and you never solve it as an individual, you solve it as teams, and somebody watching,
Yeah.
somebody doing. Can you tell us that?
So the first thing is what you just said. The I is the most unimportant word in the vocabulary.
I is the alphabet I. That is aham.
Yeah.
Me. I. Me.
So the most important word is we.
W-E. We.
So that's a belief we all have.
In the army, that's the first starting point.
So we reduce that I to nothing.
Correct.
Which is quite opposed to modern corporate culture.
Yes. That's why I'm saying I, we, like that. Yes.
So where the I becomes very, very pronounced.
Correct.
Wherever there is a problem in leadership, the reason is the I becomes very pronounced.
Correct.
Generally.
Absolutely.
It's not true in all cases, but
Absolutely.
in a generic sense. So you're referring to the encounter where I was the commanding officer?
Where you took your bullets and you had the guy in the...
I've been shot multiple
Yeah,
times.
I'll
talk about the one that happened the last.
The one where you shot in the roof.
I'm a little reticent to speak about my own actions because...
not about action. I'm just telling you that whole scenario that you said.
So I'll recount it in very brief for you. So this is November of 2003 and the place was Pulwama. Before Pulwama became famous. So mine was amongst the first specialized counter-terrorist units, a Rashtriya Rifles unit, to be inducted into Pulwama city. 2004. June of 2004. Very, very hostile place.
Really?
Very, very hostile.
When you mean hostile, what do you mean?
So the people won't talk to you. There's extreme animosity. There is little or no trust or faith in your actions, in your presence. There is a belief that you are there to rape, loot, plunder, destroy, disrupt. There is a belief that, you're not even, they're not part of your country. So, this is from the A to the Z. Everything that you can think about. So that is the environment in which we went in to operate. As did so many others. But Pulwama particularly was a fairly hostile place. So let me ask you, let's break from this encounter and let me ask you, would a hospital be considered successful? Can numbers alone define success of a hospital? Let us say you have done 5% more successful surgeries than anybody else. You, as outpatient, handle 10% more than a commensurate hospital of the same size or category. You've had the least number of, fatalities inside hospital during treatment. And ABC numbers, pure numbers. Your profitability factor is 3x. Can these define a success of a hospital alone? Or if not, what are the other ways of defining success?
So definitely the patient outcomes is fundamental because the hospital is there to make sure that, we deliver the right care at the right time.
What else should be added then to define success?
Affordability at affordable cost.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably
That's
one
also
of the...
tangible.
Yeah.
Give me the intangible ones.
Intangible ones is, people staying with the hospital for long periods of time.
Okay. That's
means
intangible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a trust factor.
Yeah, because people love the environment.
You
They don't
built
want
a trust.
Correct.
So I believe that if I come to this hospital, I will get the best care in the world. So I will come there.
That place is good and I've got good results. I come there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's intangible.
So
What else?
that means they will bring in the patient who goes out, brings the next.
Have you realized the vastness of the statement that you made? This one statement is bigger than all the other tangible outcomes. Because you have won now the trust of a community.
Correct.
You do not win the trust of a community by doing 10 successful ABC. People don't care.
True.
Most people don't know. I might come to your hospital regularly, but I will not know that you've had no fatality in ABC, that you've had so many heart life-saving surgeries.
No, but for them, on a personal level, if they trust you, that's it.
Correct.
Yes.
So I don't know that, and yet I am trusting you. So all the qualities that you mentioned, I don't even know. Yet I am trusting you. So what is it that hospital needs to do to achieve this? This is what I am saying. So normally in a unit in counter-terrorism or area, success is measured or calculated by quantifiable, tangible results. That we had so many successful operations, we killed so many terrorists, we captured so many weapons. Now I am arguing that terrorism is a socio-economic, psychological problem.
Correct.
Right? I can also win a terrorism battle by ensuring that no more terrorists are created.
Correct. That will be more important probably.
Correct. But that's intangible. And it does not contribute to that matrix of success because there is no block for this because it's not measurable.
Got it.
So when you're a VIP visiting me, I can show you a slide which says I killed so many, I captured so many, I recovered so many weapons, and therefore my success is 8.7. Very good. But I can also tell you that, sir, when I moved into this town, the market used to close at 4 in the evening. Now the markets are open till 7:30. That, sir, no women or children ever came to the market. Today, till 6:30 in the evening, women and children have started coming alone to the market. That in our average school system, the attendance was about 12 to 14%. Now it is 35 to 38%. Are these parameters of my doing a good job of keeping the terrorism outside my area of responsibility?
No. This is integral part of that. That's a fallout.
I'm saying this is a fundamental part.
Correct. Exactly.
So what happens?
That's the outcome you want to do and stopping. Yeah.
So if I prevent that, now a terrorist without an instrument of terror is useless, right?
Correct.
So at the fundamental level, my job is to do two things. You are an active terrorist. I prevent you from using your instrument, which is a gun or a rifle or a grenade.
Or creating a fear or whatever it is.
You don't have anything to scare me, no?
Okay.
If you don't have a gun,
Correct,
you don't have anything to scare me.
True, actually.
So I separate you from that. One.
Very interesting.
Two, I stop that kid from wanting to become you. Now, when you were a terrorist with the freedom to operate and use your instruments of terror, you became a hero to him. Because he saw you, you don't pay for anything, you walk into a house, you ask for food, you abuse women, you demand that ABC, you demand money, all of these come. But if you don't have your weapon, you can't do that. You're just a common man like anybody like me. So you're no more a Robin Hood or anything to anybody. So that kid doesn't aspire to now become you. Because you're useless.
Correct.
Okay. One. While that is happening, I'm telling him, boss, your school is now open longer. I've now introduced sport in your school.
Showing him other role models.
There are kids outside who are going for A, B, C, D, E. They're singing, they're dancing, they're going to competitions, playing in the IPL, So he suddenly says, that's a reasonably decent future. Till now, I thought my only future was, this. Now I have options, so lesser and lesser will come here. Now, this is a long-term cure.
Correct.
Now, if I kill you, I've made you a hero. That's a danger. Now, the other thing is, I'm killing you and some child has witnessed it. Now, he's seeing a bunch of uniformed people having killed 2 or 3 terrorists. They're terrorists. They deserve to be put down. But that kid has witnessed it. You just produced a militant. Now, I'm not for a moment arguing that a terrorist should not be neutralized. But we have to also look at the bigger picture. My job or a job as an army guy is not only to kill terrorists. It is to prevent terrorists from being created also. Now, what does that involve at multiple levels? It involves multiple things.
Correct.
You can't expect a soldier who's carrying a gun to do the softer jobs.
Correct.
But there are arms of government to do the softer jobs.
Correct.
He does the hard job. Unless both come together, the effect will never happen.
The long-term effect will not happen. Got it.
So that is the view of, especially when you're dealing with domestic terrorism. The difference, Doctor, I'd like to highlight here is,
What do you mean domestic terrorism?
so if you have a foreign terrorist, you can put that foreign terrorist down the way he's or she's expected to be put down. If one of our citizens have picked up a weapon, I think the treatment has to be a little different. As long as you can separate that terrorist from that instrument of terror. If the terrorist continues to carry that instrument of terror, he must be put down. End of story. But you also, for Viksit Bharat, because if that person continues, Viksit Bharat will not happen.
Correct.
That's also a barrier.
Correct. That's also a big barrier.
We will spend billions and billions and
Correct.
billions, and hundreds of young men will continue to die.
Correct. And that money is going to a useless place.
I have been shot 5 times.
Mm.
I'm grateful to the Lord that I didn't die, and of course to so many people like you, doctors, who saved me. So many others have been unfortunate. Is their death worth it? Look at the number of people, our own citizens, who have died over the years. Somebody misinformed, somebody brainwashed, somebody misaligned, somebody paid for, somebody didn't know what they were getting into. Is it worth it? And is that contributing to Viksit Bharat, or is it a barrier? Now, if it's a barrier,
It's a barrier.
if it's a hurdle, if it's an obstacle, we need to approach it sensibly. I think in the last decade, our approach to terrorism in our country in general has changed significantly.
Yeah.
Significantly. External state-sponsored terrorism, and we've seen recently in Op Sindoor, we have said, boss, we can incrementally escalate from bare minimum to, and we showed them what more we can do, and we didn't do it.
Correct.
So that's a message, very important. Was this message missing in our 75 or 77 years of existence as a nation? Yes, it was missing, but it's nobody's fault. It's there now. We should, when we want Viksit Bharat, we should not look behind, we should look forward. But then we waste our time looking back. So that piece is now there. But there are lots of pieces of this puzzle which are not there. That's what I meant. We put all these together and things will start happening. This is my view on, general view on terror and terrorism. But to get back to your question about the encounter.
So, before you go to the encounter, what I got from this conversation from you just now is, if you take the number of the civilians who've been killed because of so-called terrorism operations, it is still very small compared to the number of people dying on in the Indian roads because of road traffic accidents, because of people who.
So that's another piece of the
exactly
puzzle.
That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, I want the public to also realize that don't look at terrorism. Oh, I'm not there. If you are killing someone on the road, drinking, driving rashly, you are as good at terror as anybody else driving and doing those kind of stuff.
So
that's what I think.
think
so.
We still have the largest number of babies under the age of
Correct.
5 who are dying
Correct.
of malnutrition.
Correct. Agreed. That's also another piece of the puzzle.
So when we talk
yes.
when we talk of security, national security and security threat, I normally have a contra view to what normally people would say. People would expect, first you put our aggressive neighbors on the north and the east. I don't even think they're on that list, at least not in the top 10. I'll tell you what our national security threats are. What is the quality of air that we are breathing?
Yesterday morning they said Indians are not even seeing sunlight properly because of all the smog.
Okay. So in the next 25 years, somebody who's born today is going to be 25 years. 25 years, you would say, is peak physical output bracket.
Correct.
25 to 45. This is the time you want that person to work in a factory or in a field or in an office and produce maximum so that Viksit Bharat will happen. But if you can't in these 25 years give them a healthy environment, they will be spending more and more time in a hospital or in medical care than delivering. Now, that will take us directly to the second threat. the cost that as a state you will incur on health or health related expenditure will be exponentially high. You cannot even imagine. Okay, that's the second one. The third one is education. The fourth one is our social fabric. The fifth one is nutrition. Are we eating nutritious food or are we not eating nutritious food in a generic sense?
Obviously, no.
Okay. Is our
Because we are seeing younger, and I'm seeing people at 18 years having a stroke and so on and so forth.
Is there a calorific intake which is ideally recommended for us being whatever, Dravidian descent, ABC, Anglo-Saxon, Indian, DNA, whatever, and we may have multiple, ranges of DNA here. Each of us may require different calorific intake per day. Are we getting it? And are we getting it in the correct proportion? You can't say 100 calories, so eat 3 spoons of sugar and say finish. It doesn't work. So,
with nutrition.
Now, these are also national security threats.
Correct. Agree.
Our disproportionate growth, wherein we have large cities which are exploding and crashing. They're struggling at the seams. And we have large swaths of land in India which is not even used.
Correct.
So, this disproportionate growth is a threat.
So, I'll say, for example, just to say as a doctor.
So, when you add these threats,
correct,
our neighbors have not come into the equation yet. So, do we need to fix all of this together? Yes. That is why I requested, I'm going back, when we look at Viksit Bharat, we have to address all of these together. You cannot address one. You should never get carried away by the belief that, army and armed forces is everything. Let us, bomb the delegates out of the neighboring country and smash it out of the map. These are not solutions. You may smash it out of the map. Your people will die of poor health.
correct.
What have we gained at the end of it? So, the balance has to be correct. We've got our vision brilliantly correct now, which we didn't have. I'm sure in time we will have the little bits and pieces that are required to put together this vision.
We have the capability, just that.
No, beyond doubt.
I
Beyond doubt. But we spoke about the barriers.
Correct.
Addressing all of them is also critical.
Agreed. Now you go back to your encounter.
So it was November. I'll be very brief now. November, I was the commanding officer. And we got an information that in a particular village there were some terrorists. So we had a unique mechanism. I had a unique mechanism. My entire unit used to work in 4-man teams. And the reason is very simple. In elementary terms, you can go as a body of 100. You're slow. You require 3 vehicles. You're noisy. You take time to get together. You take time to get into those vehicles. You will have to go along the road A, B, C. 4 people just go. It's like the difference between a decision taken in a startup where there are 2 people.
Correct.
And a decision taken in India's biggest hospital.
Agreed. When the right hand doesn't know what left hand is doing, no connection. I agreed. I can see that. Yeah.
So 2 people say, okay, let's buy it and buy it.
Correct.
In a big hospital, when you say buy it, they'll say, okay, come on, file, let me see, assessment, technical evaluation, call the doctor, expert opinion. Finance will say, no, look for a smaller model. By the time that patient is gone or that issue has blown away. That's the difference.
Got it.
4 men, lithe, agile, quick, big risk.
Lean and mean.
Big risk because there's no support.
Oh, that's the flip side.
That's the flip side. So what happens is, 2 4-man teams can combine seamlessly to form an 8-man team. When they become a 12-man team, there is a little leadership component that gets added. Correct. So when the requirement is not there of 4, the teams are 12. Size of 12.
Either 4 or 12.
It can be 4, it can be 8, it can be 12. When everything is normal, you are 12 people with a leadership component who's a little senior, he's a leader, he's got communication, he's got all. 3 teams of 12 can get together and make one super team of 36, which does now different things. But 9 people can add and become 36 also with one leader getting inserted. Now this is all seamless. There is no conversation, there is no orders required to be made. This is automatic.
Got it.
This is what is the power of routine, habit, drill. When you teach,
and each of them are taught their own pieces.
You train. You first educate. I have a decided passion for or a preference for education over training.
What's the difference?
Oh, a huge difference.
Really?
Circus lions can be trained.
Okay.
Doctors have to be educated.
So are you, let me see if I understood it right. Are you saying training is like giving the fish and this is training them how to
No,
fish? Or
training
no?
is more muscular.
Or more
Teach the body
physical?
muscle. It's a routine activity. If
Huh.
that happens, I do this. If that happens, I do this.
Hmm.
So I do. Education is, boss, three things have happened together. Now give me a solution. Now, if you only trained me, I am not empowered to take a decision bigger than the problem that I am trained for.
Got it. Ah.
You need to combine education with training.
Got it. Now I got it. Got it.
I train you how to put sutures. I know nothing about sutures, except that I have got multiple sutures in my body. But when I can train you to put sutures under different conditions. A pulsating blood vessel, a standard one, a flat one which is not receptive to sutures, A, B, C, 100
Variations.
variations I've got.
Mm,
I've taught you how to do on those 100. That is training. Education is, I'm telling you, boss, is there a 110th way which could manifest?
Or if the bleeding happens, something new happens.
I don't know. Some 101st one which I'm not trained for. How do I handle it? That empowerment comes from education.
Got it.
Training is for a specific problem.
Got it.
Education is for large.
You can generalize.
That's
it.
my differentiation, and I could be wrong.
Correct.
I mean,
No,
I'm not.
You can use different semantics, but I get the point.
So I didn't create these words in the Queen's language, but I'm just using them to convey a point.
You may use it in different ways, but he's communicating a point that you should be able to generalize it and expand it and get your own stuff.
Education is, I give you a broader way. I can teach a welder how to weld. That is training. But if I educate a person about welding, he or she can find new ways of doing the same welding.
Correct.
That is education.
Correct. Got it.
So it's launched the first 4-man team. And then the next, because one goes faster, there would have been somebody close by. So he was launched fastest. And then it built up. Villages are big there. This is a very large village. By about 5 o'clock, one company commander had reached there. Now a company has about 100 jawans. So at least 20 teams had already converged there, 24-man teams. So it became about 100. The company commander told me, sir, there is something in the village. Now, how do you know there is something in the village? He smells the air? No. That's metaphoric. In a cinema, I can say, "Aram saans leke bolenge ki kuch gadbad hai." It doesn't work like that. But you can sense it. That is that finely tuned intuition that kicks in.
Which other people couldn't read.
Other people can see, but everybody doesn't communicate with me. The company commander communicates. So, it's from looking at the people. It's from seeing the early morning activities of a village. Now, every village is different. Now, you can only find the difference if you've been to that village multiple times. This is where you have to do repetitive preparations. You can't just land up and say, I know this village. You have to have been to that village multiple times.
Or every village is the same. Yeah, one village is the same as 10 villages. Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
It's not. That's what. You can't do that. Every village is different.
You have to go.
Correct.
So it's constant hard work. Imagine if this young officer has got an area of 6 by 5 kilometers. That is a 30 square kilometer area. He has to do this every day. So even when there is no operation happening, he is walking about 40 or 45 kilometers on a daily basis. Only then he can perform when it's required.
Correct.
So this, when you talk of hard work, or when practice is required, even when there is no imminent contact, this is what it is.
Got it.
So it's tiring, it's relentless, it's unforgiving. Anyway, this is what he told me. So I said, okay, let's launch some more. I said, how big is the village? So he said, it's very big. He said, sir, you've been here. So what happens is, when you've been there in multiple villages, when you're talking on the set, he's not actually telling me the name of anything. He's telling me, sir, you came here, we had tea under that tree. There was a house with a blue door.
Why is he doing that specifically?
Because nobody else should know.
What you're talking about. So that, okay.
So how does anybody know where I spoke? Where I had tea? How does anybody know how many houses with the blue door? So this is how communication takes place in the absence of any code. Because the Motorola is civil, communication. Anyway, so we launched another company. And we launched another company. I went there at about 9:30 in the morning.
This is 5:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the evening?
Hey, no, this was started at 3:30 in the morning.
Hmm.
But at 5 he called me, and more companies were launched because the village was very big and we needed more people to search. Eventually the whole battalion was there. Whole battalion has about 800 people. So out of 800, about 600 would have reached there.
You also reached there.
And we searched. I went also searched multiple houses and we couldn't find anything. But the source who told me that they are there in the village kept telling me, sir, they are in the village. Now the danger is that he knew that they were in the village. Probably he only brought them to that village.
So why would you say that?
There are multiple reasons. When you have conflict in your area, you start affecting the psychology of people. These are the unseen costs of terrorism.
So you don't know what his agenda is.
He would do that because he's afraid of them. He has no option. He would do that because he has a belief in the flag. He would do that because he's taken money from them. He would do that probably he believes that I will give him money for giving him information. He would do that probably they did wrong to his family. So he wants to take revenge. Therefore, he pretended to be a good boy for them and then he's coming and telling me. It could be any or all of the above.
Or a combination. Correct.
He could be somebody who has a enmity with grouse against the army. So he will give us some information that will lead us into a trap and people will die. Have all of these happened? Every of what I have said have happened in some time or the other. You have no way of knowing the truth. So your only option is, the best defense you have is to be prepared for anything that can be in front of you. Which makes it difficult, but then that's why you paid, that's why you're educated and trained. So we searched and we couldn't find anything. Because he was putting so much pressure, we could have called off the operation. After all, we do so many operations which are not successful. We could have called it off, but he kept telling me ki sab hai. And he told me, he says, if you can't get them, then I am dead. Now what happens is, if the terrorists kill one person who is your informer, nobody else is going to be forthcoming to give you any information.
Correct. Fear comes up.
Please also understand, at the bottom of the pyramid of terrorist operations is the human level. Now, if a terrorist is not making electronic communication, how will you track him electronically?
Correct.
I am sending only messages by pigeon mail.
Oh, they do that, huh?
I'm giving an example. I'm only sending messages through him, through that shopkeeper. Physical, small purchase, small chits. How will you can? Unless there's a human aspect. So the human intelligence aspect has always been invaluable in gathering of intelligence. Of course, the electronic intelligence has a role to play, but at the bottom end is human. Priceless. So anyway, I didn't find anything. So as a principle, I never encourage the search of any religious shrine. I didn't. Because like I said, it was as important for me not to create a terrorist as it was to kill a terrorist. Both were as important. Now, if I insult your religion, that's a very, probably the most sensitive part of a human being's, sensitive areas.
Correct. Agreed.
Family, religion, these come very, very high.
Correct.
So anything else is okay. But these two you can't touch. So we never searched. So we were next to this masjid and there were about 2,000 males sitting there of the village because we gathered all the males at one place. That used to be the technique of doing a search. I happened to tell one of my jawans, masjid dhoondte hain, which means let us search the masjid. I finished saying this, all the 2,000 got up and ran.
Oh, that means they were there inside.
That's the biggest indication, right? Now you could argue, sir, how could they run away? Because you had men around you with, weapons. You can't shoot them. They're your own people. This is what I meant. When I said domestic terrorists, this is what I meant. You can't shoot them. Of course, they were sitting there because we got them there. But because they run away, you can't shoot. But it confirmed to us that either they were there or they are there. One of the two. Now, the masjid was in front of us. It was a 3-storied masjid. 6 of us went into the masjid. Now you will say, sir, how did this 6 come? Because I talked to you of 4.
Correct.
Now,
And also you had 800 or 600, whatever.
My quick reaction team, the commanding officer's quick reaction team comprised 12 people.
Already defined, predefined.
Of course, they move with me together.
Hmm.
Now, my quick reaction team is a little different from a normal team of 12 because I need somebody to carry that big radio set of mine. I need somebody to give first aid to somebody else. So, there's one guy who does first aid, that does this. So, fighting people are probably only 8. They're also fighting people, but they're not like that. They're geared for other jobs, oriented. So, 6 were pure fighting people. I had to leave 2 to look after them also. So, they were left. 6 of us went inside. Now, 6 is still a multiple of 2.
Correct.
Now, you might ask me, what is this 2? 2 is a buddy pair. So, typically, you look at it like this. Let me tell you translate in your line of work. Let us say every high stress or complicated surgery was performed not by one chief surgeon, but by a buddy pair.
Correct. We have to have a buddy pair.
Buddy pair may not be doing the surgery with you all the time, but is observing you all the time.
Correct. Correct.
God
Quite
forbid,
an assistant.
God forbid you make a mistake. It's your buddy pair who will tell you that we're going wrong here, let's retrace.
Correct.
In our terms, this buddy pair is the one who looks at areas which you are not looking at, which is why that common American phrase, which is now common amongst Indian young people, I have your back. This is where it has come from.
Got it.
So, because I can't see behind me, that person looks out behind me.
Got it.
That is why it says, I have your back.
Got it. Got it.
So, that's the genesis of that phrase.
Got it. Got it.
So, 6 is still multiple of 2. So, to cut a long story short, we entered that masjid. Ground floor we searched, there was nothing. My company commanders outside told me, sir, everything you're speaking, they're able to hear. So, what was happening was they had left the PA system on.
Oh.
So, anything that I was speaking on my Motorola
Just going in this.
was being relayed through those speakers outside to the whole village. So, we cut this transmission out.
Now you're in trouble.
And we turned off that. Now we can't communicate with anybody outside. Right? Ground floor, nothing. First floor, nothing. Above the first floor was a artificial ceiling, which is a plywood roof. Plywood probably 10 mm, 12 mm. It cannot be thicker than that. On top of that was like a gumbad. Now, all mosques in the olden days have like a minaret in the middle of the building. Tin shed. That's where all the speakers are. Now, I think your viewers must know why these were there. Whether it's a temple or whether it's a gurdwara, whether it's a masjid or a church, they had these speakers outside because these religious places of worship were also community centers. So when the king wanted to pass some information, he used these also to pass information. Either through that or people gathered there in that square or that pond, and therefore this concept of food was served there. So people came to eat the food and
They got the
information was passed, the floods are coming. It was also a place of safety that we are going to be attacked. So all of you gather here, the army will guard this one place. And multiple things, that legacy still continues. It's now also there for multiple reasons. We transmit our prayers through there so that everybody knows puja is happening or whatever. That was the only place. Now we knew they were there.
Oh, you knew. Because nowhere else.
That was the hope, that was
Correct.
the belief.
Correct.
Now 40 minutes had gone since we had entered the masjid. And we were 6 of us and we had a plywood above our roof, above our head. Now if somebody had shot us from above, we would have got shot in the top of the head where there is no protection.
Oh, you have the bulletproof vest only here.
And patka is here in front for a frontal fire, not for something that comes over. Or the shoulder, which is one place where I got shot. So, we didn't know what to do. We can't talk to each other now because we're so close. There's no communication. You cannot say, how's the Josh? Doesn't work. That's gone long back.
Correct.
You asked me that question, right?
Correct.
So, we were all standing with our backs to the wall. Because on top of the wall in the corner was 1 foot of concrete roof. And the planks were put above that. So, we thought this is the place. So, we decided that we will take one step forward each, 6 of us, and fire one round into the roof. Our hope was that at some point, now we still didn't know if there's a terrorist inside or no. Our hope was that at some time they will return the fire. And when they return the fire, we will know where they are. Of course, we were exposing ourselves.
Correct. Because
But we were 6 of us. So there are diversions within that action. So the diversions are very important. So
how you fire from different places.
How do you survive in an operation? By creating enough diversion. See, Dr. Saab, the combat happens between in your favorite organ in the body, which is the brain. All combat happens here.
Correct.
So how do you succeed in battle? If you can think either faster or more differently, or one step ahead of your adversary, you will win. Always and every time.
Agree. And that's whole goods everywhere.
So the diversions are important. Animals do this beautifully.
Like example?
Oh, lions hunting, beautiful diversion. Cheetahs hunting, beautiful.
They give the diversion.
Yes, they create a diversion before they catch their prey. Beautiful diversions. Cricketers, sportsmen, kabaddi, you can see fantastic diversions.
Correct, correct.
It's essentially about occupying the mind. Let's say I am the striker and I am coming in to do a raid. If somebody there just diverts me for a fraction of a second, I will look there. The moment I look there, you'll catch me.
Correct.
So these are diversions. So if 6 places fire is coming, it's very difficult. We could still have been shot and any of us could have died. That's the chance you take. You don't think about all this. Your training just takes over. Correct. So we did.
So 6 of you from different locations you fire?
No, in one line, because we need to control and coordinate also. So in one line we advanced forward because we wanted everybody to reach security on the other side at the same time. Because if one chap in the open fires alone, then he would have got targeted. So we did it in a form of a sequence. Now the unfortunate part for us, and the credit to the terrorist was, we crossed from one side of the building to the other side of the building and we fired about maybe 15 or 16 rounds each.
Oh.
It's a big masjid. There was no response. That is how beautifully trained they were. There was not a single round of response. So we had reached the other side and nothing had happened. It was getting dark. Now when it gets dark, the difficulties exponentially increase. I was the commanding officer. What's going through my mind? Now if, let us say the terrorists are in the Gumbaj, right on top, and it's dark now, by now all my 800 men are not around the village. Because everybody now knows all action is in the masjid. So all of them have congregated right around the masjid with 2 to 3 inches separating each other. Now if one of the terrorists had to open fire from there at this lot, I would have had 10 or 12 soldiers injured or dead. Or God forbid, they could have fired at a couple of villages. Anything can happen.
Correct.
So I was also in a hurry to finish it. Now normally hurry is the friend of casualties. When you hurry, you will create a problem, you will take some shortcuts, like your surgery, like you're going on a scooter.
Correct.
When you hurry, you create a problem.
Sometimes in emergency when you do that, we sometimes run into trouble.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I had to do it. There was no choice. I had also run out of ideas. The one thing that I thought of, we didn't get a reaction. Now, you ask me why education and not training. This is the difference. Everything that I was trained for is over here.
Correct. Out of syllabus now.
It's not a syllabus. So we did something which I had never done before. And I do not know where it came from me. So we had those old Nokia 1100 phones. Nokia 1100, small one. So I put one phone there in the middle of the room. And I went back and I borrowed a phone. I put my phone there. I borrowed a phone from there was a junior commissioned officer with me in the 6. And I dialed my number. Now when my number rang, they would have, first of all, they would have known, see, a terrorist is also a very intelligent creature. You cannot survive otherwise. Their lifespan is very short. If you pick up a weapon, the average lifespan of a terrorist is 2.5 years.
From the time he picks up the weapon. That's it.
That is why if you want to save that family, within that 2.5 years, you strip him from his weapon so that he has a chance of reintegrating with family. That is when you stop militancy and terrorism. So there's a difference between terrorism and militancy also. Militance is that misinformed citizen. Terrorist is that external terrorist.
Indoctrinated.
Correct. Complete hardcore. That's a little difference. Anyway, so we did that, and from two places there was fire on that phone.
Where the phone came. Huh.
But we were not there.
Correct.
But when the two fired, we all 6 of us fired into that. Instantly. Two sounds we heard falling down. One sound fell and did not move. It just fell on that. We couldn't see. It is 7 feet above us. That's all.
Oh shit!
Just 7 feet.
Woo! You can actually touch it like this.
When we put our AK-47 on top, the barrel touched the plywood.
Oh.
That is how it is. Now there was a big hole in the plywood, multiple holes because we had fired. From one of the hole, and you would know this, but your viewers won't know this. But when blood gets mixed with, other body fluids and tissues, it's no longer red. It becomes a white, pink, scarlet, sticky, gooey, liquidy mass. So it kind of viscous. It drips down. It's thick. So that is how from that hole it was coming. So we knew that whoever is here is quite badly injured, probably dead also. From the other place, there was only pure blood dripping. So that person probably had only flesh injuries or maybe flesh and bone, but dripping. Now when all this is happening, we didn't come in the center. We are still there. One of our men who was in that corner gestured to all of us to listen. Now please understand, while all this is happening, that man has kept his ears open to other noises. This is what training does.
Got it.
We did not task him to listen. It is one of the tasks all of us were supposed to do.
Correct.
You could say 5 of us failed to hear it. You could say 5 of us were doing other things. He was keeping an eye. Whatever it is, as a team you are supposed to do. Correct. This is what I said.
Correct.
The team is more important.
Correct.
So he signaled to us to hear. We could hear somebody crawling on that plywood. Now our only understanding was he was trying to crawl towards one of these other terrorists who was shot. The reason may have been that that person may have had a satellite phone. He may have had a normal mobile phone. He may have had a transmitting device. He may have had some weapon or explosive which this chap wanted. Something he was crawling to him. Now when you crawl on plywood, the scraping of the body on the plywood is pretty loud. Even you can try it. You can try crawl on the ground and record it. It will make a lot of noise.
Correct.
Two of us, so this much is plywood. This is the body crawling on the plywood. We put our barrels of the AK-47 under, maybe 10 millimeters, and fired 5 or 6 rounds each. Instantly that crawling stopped. Now, the last ace which we had from that supreme education of the mind was also over. We didn't know whether there are any more terrorists. Now there's a situation of panic. Panic because the men outside are hearing the firing.
Correct.
They know the commanding officer is inside. They don't know what is happening.
Correct. No communication.
They must be dying to come inside the masjid.
Correct.
But the moment they come into the masjid, they create a handicap because now the militants can just fire at the staircase. Correct. And they would all have died one by one, 30, 40. So my instructions were, you will not come inside till you are called. These are our drills. We don't interfere when there is a fight happening. And they were worried. Commanding officer is inside. Commanding officer is a fairly big man.
The tiger.
Yeah, it's called the tiger also. Now there was no option but to go into that attic on top of the plywood. For us, there is no option.
Correct.
I have to either say there were only 3 militants, 3 terrorists all killed, or go up and ascertain that there is no other way.
Correct.
And the only way to go up was a little gap in the stairs where there was a ladder. So two men held that ladder so the ladder doesn't slip, because these ladders on floors and all can slip, and they are old village kind of ladders. Two people were holding their weapon at that gap, and two of us decided to climb the ladder and go into the attic.
Wow.
So I had gone 2 rungs. One rung, second rung. We were terrified now. So the weapon was in only one hand. Now a rifle from one hand firing, it's not going to hit anybody.
Oh, because it's very.
It may hit, but the probability is very low.
Oh.
It's not designed to fire with one hand.
Okay.
It's not like a pistol.
Mm.
But this was an AK-47. This is a fairly long and heavy weapon. So we climbed one rung, we climbed a second rung. Now we were 2 climbing together. Now a ladder is normally not made for 2 people to climb. So I was using the right half and the other guy was using the left half.
Oh my goodness.
So
Crazy.
his weapon was in his left hand and he was holding. A weapon is absolutely not designed to fire with left hand. I was still okay because I was like this. 2 people who were holding the ladder did not have both hands because they were holding the ladder. But the 2 people who had both hands on the weapon were absolutely looking at that little 3x3 gap.
For anybody to come.
So we had climbed 2 steps when we heard running on the plywood. And before we knew anything, there was a militant looking down at us, just looking down.
From that hole?
From that hole, and he was like this.
Shit.
And he fired, and all of us fired. Now, I already told you, I'm firing with my right hand, he's firing at me. Now, he's only about 4.5 feet from me.
Whoa.
4.5, because I've climbed 2 steps.
Correct.
This guy is fired with his left hand and absolutely could not have gone anywhere. Those 2 who were holding the ladder could not fire because even if they wanted to, because we were between them and the terrorist. So even if they had a chance, they would have shot us, so they did not fire. Those 2 fired and we fired. This terrorist got shot here. And he got shot in his abdomen, lower abdomen. And instantly, all the insides just came out. All his insides came on all of us. Blood and tissue and flesh, everything on top of us. And he fell down.
On you?
He fell down on... We were climbing like this. He hit us and then he fell down there. Before this finished, the second terrorist appeared there and he had what is called a UBGL, an under-barrel grenade launcher.
Whoa.
Which is, it's a normal rifle barrel. There's a little tube underneath the barrel which fires a little grenade, a rifle grenade. Not meant to be fired at that close range. But they fire whatever they have. Anybody fires whatever. When you're fighting for your life, you use whatever is there. So he fired that and he fired that grenade also. The fired grenade makes a different boom, big noise. Unlike an AK which is... AK is like that, AK-47. But a grenade makes a little boom. So he fired both. But now, those 2 and the 2 of us who were climbing the ladder were a little more organized because we heard these footsteps. Now we knew the second chap is coming. But this all happening in a gap of about 5 seconds.
Correct.
Probably 6 seconds.
Correct.
So we all fired.
Again.
This terrorist was shot in the face. Much of the bullets he got in the face and he got some in the chest and he also fell. Now my initial information was of 5 terrorists. This was 5. Could there have been a 6th one? Yes. If there had been a 6th one, then I would not be here talking to you.
Why do you say that?
Because we didn't check for a 6th one.
Who?
We.
You thought, ho gaya.
Because we got 5. Not we didn't think. Now when it happened, one of the Jawans...
Where was the fight? The 3? How did you know the other 3 were there?
Because I told you before it happened. We shot 2, then the one guy was crawling, we shot the 3rd. That was the 3.
Okay. That's how you counted. Yeah,
that's how 3.
Correct.
No, that's what I'm saying. So first is when it is 5, you don't know it's 5. Maybe 1. It may be 7. It may be 10.
Correct.
Have all these happened with us before? Yeah, I've served 42 years in the army. Of course, it's happened multiple times. Now you can ask me, sir, why did you not check? And I'll tell you. So when it happened, so this adrenaline, when this encounter happens, is at levels you cannot measure.
I agree.
You cannot measure. If at that time I had presented myself to you in the hospital, you would have said, how are you alive? You should be dead. your BP is probably 240 by 180 or
Correct,
whatever it
correct,
is, and
correct.
your adrenaline level, if you can measure, must be off the charts. But that is what combat does.
Agree.
Now, when these two fell down, your first job is to ensure that they are actually dead. There is a drill for that, and then you take that person away. Now, while we were doing that, one Jawan looked at me. Now, we all actually thought the operation is over, because now we were talking. Till now, from the start, we had not spoken one word to each other.
Only sign language.
This is the magic of being a team. So when I look at a CEO and say you have to create a team, this is the kind of team that a CEO must try and create.
A combat team.
Not a combat, a team,
Whatever.
a team that responds to anything that your company can throw at you.
And more.
At a human level. Professional level is the job of the vice president works, or factory employee, manager. Your job is the human plane, the emotional, psychological plane. That's the job of a leader. I keep saying this again. Anyway, he looked at me and he said in Hindi, "Saab, aapke to khoon aa raha hai," which means, "Saab, you're bleeding." Yeah, I told him, I can't tell you what I told him. It's a very family channel. But I told him, you're also bloody bleeding, because all of us had blood and flesh and everything. He said, "Saab, nahi, aapke khoon aa raha hai," which means, he said, no, you're bleeding.
It's not his blood.
And I said, let's, dekho. So he said, "Saab, first thing is," he said, "aapke ungli mein khoon hai." So this bit was a surgery which was done by somebody of your specialization. This bone was shattered, and this much of skin was all that it was hanging on. Mercifully, when I went to the hospital, this is a hospital where normally there is no neurosurgeon. There are outstanding orthopedic surgeons, but there is no neurosurgeon. Incidentally, one of the ortho surgeons had to go on leave. And the only replacement they could find for him from the next level hospital happened to be a neurosurgeon. So that neurosurgeon was on duty when I was wheeled in, and he attached this. I remember it was all in plaster. He would come, and he came, I think, on the 19th or 20th day, I don't remember. I was in a coma for a few days. He came and he asked me, "Sir, how are you?" I asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm so-and-so neurosurgeon." I said, "Why neurosurgeon come to see me?" I said, "No, my brain's okay, I hope." He said, "No, sir, I've just come to see you." He didn't tell me he was the one who operated. He brought a pin, safety pin or whatever, alpin, I don't remember. And he started by pricking this finger. Whatever, when he pricked it, I said, "He's hurting me. What are you doing?" Because everything was hurting, no, that time. But he paid particular attention to this one. Now, when he did this, initially, for whatever reason, I did not probably react. Probably something else was paining because I was hurt in multiple places. I saw a little disappointment in his face. So he did it again, and this time probably did it a little more deep. And that time, no, I told him, "You're hurting me now." He is very happy.
Correct.
So he came back after a few more days. And that time this was, then he told me, he said, "Sir, normal circumstances, your finger would have been amputated there. Because there was actually nothing left. It should have been amputated. But I happened to be on duty, and I had an opportunity of fixing it." So he says, even after fixing it, because life-saving was more important, not this one, I was not sure whether I did the correct job, because it had to be done simultaneously, multiple things, and we were willing to sacrifice this. So he says, "Sir, that is why I came and, particularly checked your finger." He came subsequently, and then initially I couldn't bend it, and, multiple things. It took me about 5 or 6 years before I got back, 90% of whatever I can. Fortunately, this fingers, you don't have to lift, 20 kgs with this finger, so it's okay. That is one. Now, underneath the bulletproof vest was my t-shirt. T-shirt was fully drenched in blood. Now, I put my hand into the bulletproof and it was wet. That is when this, now bulletproof vest also got a Velcro binding on top between the front panel and the back panel. So they stripped it, and then here there was a lot of blood flowing. So I was shot in my shoulder. Now, this is a miracle because I was shot from about 4.5 or 5 feet.
Closest range.
It's almost point blank.
Correct.
Yeah, that bullet technically should have gone right through my shoulder and probably exited from my waist or somewhere thigh, somewhere outside. Probably my argument is that it did not hit me directly.
Oh, ricocheted.
It probably have ricocheted off the wall or part of the ladder or maybe part of my own AK-47, something. Or maybe my bulletproof patka, which is iron. Something which took away all the momentum. But the tall and short is that bullet was recovered 1 millimeter above my left lung.
Whoa.
So that is one. That also created a little bit of nerve issue in my left arm, which still surfaces sometimes, but that's part of furniture. I was shot in my thigh. My thigh was bleeding. This is a flesh wound. It went through and through. That grenade alone could have killed all of us. Now, that's why they say, you also fight a holy war. Sometimes they say, you fight dharam. Dharam not as in religion. Dharam as in correctness.
Correct.
Dharam is correctness.
Correct.
So
That's what the Krishna told us in Mahabharata is dharma versus adharma.
Correctness, virtue.
Virtue.
The moral right, as we call it. So the carpet, the dari which we have in masjids or temples and all, that was rolled up and kept next to the ladder.
Vertically.
Next to the ladder. So that grenade which he fired, instead of hitting the ground and bursting, hit that carpet bundle.
And got inside.
So much of it got absorbed inside the carpet. It softens the blow.
Amazing, amazing. What all?
But the splinters go all over the place. So these two little black marks you see are splinters.
Oh, from the grenade.
Yeah, I have splinters.
And it could have come 1 inch more and finished.
Yeah, anything could have happened. So there are multiple splinters all over my body, and they're still there.
Huh?
They're still there, some of them.
So when you go in metal detector,
They're too small. They're too small to have been removed. The bigger ones always get removed. The small ones, obviously,
correct. We leave it. We leave it. Yeah.
Sometimes when I run or, it causes a little pain, low temperature, it causes a little pain. But like I said, it's part of furniture. So they moved me out of the masjid. Then I used 4 different types of transport. Eventually a helicopter to get to the hospital. Because I was a commanding officer and injured, it's not often that a commanding officer goes into combat and gets injured. So the hospital was ready to receive me, and it's a beautiful hospital in terms of life saving. 92 base hospital, it is called in Srinagar. The belief amongst the army is if you go to that hospital, within 2 hours you will live. Anything could have been blown off, you will live. That's what the doctors, that is the faith that is built over time. Of course, you call it golden hour, but they would say, 2 ghante mein aap pahunch jao, you will survive. And I reached, I think, in about an hour, 10 minutes of my being shot. They worked on me all night, and yeah, that's the story.
Amazing, amazing.
So, interesting reaction from 2 kinds of people to the same incident. Most people senior to me actually scolded me and admonished me that you're the bloody commanding officer. Why did you go into the fight? Fair enough. Because the loss of a commanding officer could have had a disastrous effect on both the unit
and the psyche
and on the anti-terrorism movement which we are building.
Correct.
Because you've given the terrorist a badge, we've now killed a colonel. That is our achievement. That's their view, perfectly fine. Now the magic is the same incident can be seen by different people through different facets of the prism, and both can be right.
Correct. Correct. In their own ways.
So everybody junior to me came and told me, sir, Gazab, we want a commanding officer like you. And a commanding officer is not a very old man. I was probably what?
Late 30s probably.
Yeah, 36, 37. And I'm thinking, who's right? Is that guy right who came and scolded me? Of course, they said, well done. But they also told me you shouldn't have done that. Scolding is not as in scolding. Yeah,
understood.
But for a commanding officer, this is also scolding. Correct. And this young kid who I don't know comes to the hospital and says, I want to shake your hand. We need more people like you. I said, Kamal yaar, who's right? As you get older, you realize both are right.
Both are right. Correct.
Because both are seeing the same action from their perspectives.
Correct.
So great lesson was that nobody's perspective is wrong. It's just different. But this was the small incident. Did it make a difference to the counter-terrorism activities in our area of responsibility? Yes. For one, the soldiers in my unit started believing that now we are God's own. God is with us. I was the only person in this entire operation who was injured.
Oh, really?
Now, multiple things. This is a unit which I raised. Raised means created from scratch.
Correct. You mentioned that.
I was the first person in the unit to get shot and wounded. I was the first person in the unit to get a Gallantry award. And I was the commanding officer who raised that unit.
What more did you want?
What that tells the men is God is walking with us. So that gives you great impetus to do a fantastic job thereafter for times to come. Personally, it was a privilege for me to be part of something like this. It's an honor.
Absolutely.
So,
Hats off to you.
there is no, I say this before, I've said this before in a Telugu podcast, and I'll say it here. My wife doesn't like it. She doesn't like me saying it. But I've said it to her also. My biggest regret is that I could not die doing more for my country. You could say, sir, that is stupid. Why should you die doing something for my country? But I'm saying for a soldier, there is no greater glory
Which is the Balidan that you are talking.
than to die doing something for your country. But I'm okay. I got second prize. I've been shot multiple times in doing something for my country, which is better than many other people can talk about. So I'm okay. I got at least second place. But first place is first place, you know.
So I'll give you the counter to that to make you happy. So I've heard our Prime Minister Modi ji saying this. Said we have not been fortunate to die for the country during independence like what our freedom fighters did, but we have a chance to build the country.
Yeah, so this is
So-
what I'm doing now.
Yes,
That's
so
what
you're
I'm
a
doing
partner
now.
in Viksit
So
Bharat
I
2047.
firmly advocate, you know, I've been saying Mera Bharat Mahan for the last 25 years.
As a rhetoric.
Yeah, as just a statement.
Correct.
So I've been wearing this India flag for the last 25 years. People used to make fun of me. You know, people wear different thing, different insignia. I've always worn the India flag whenever not always doesn't mean 100%, but 99% of the time. Now I'm so glad to see this movement, this action becoming a movement. I have not caused this movement, but I'd like to think I've been some small part in this wheel. No? I've been wearing it. Lot of people know I've been wearing it.
I'll also start wearing it now.
Lot of people, I've been to 2-3 podcasts where they've asked me, Sab, why are you wearing it? So I said, the question is not why I'm wearing it. Question is, why are you not wearing it?
Correct. Exactly.
So at least when you wear it, will you feel obliged to do the right thing because you're wearing it? I'm saying it's just an argument, but it's figurative. So somebody sees it, they feel nice. I know one guy who used to carry these lapel pins, and whenever he would see anybody, he would just give one lapel. It's an awesome thing. It costs nothing much, you know. These are little things. So that's the one regret I would have of having served in uniform for so long and yet not had that opportunity to do that or the requirement to do that.
Got it. This is what we have to do for saying that. But
Thank you.
thank you for what you have done to save us and where we are today. So I'm going to, two more things you have to talk about. I know your Nimbaram story. I need you to tell that to our audience what Nimbaram did. Because that I
So
think
I'll keep only the end part of it.
Yes.
So that's the
yes,
critical
correct.
portion. So similar operation, 2003. Now you will say, sir, hell of a life you've led. You know, you only had operations like this. I said it the other day. I have been fortunate in my service life to meet only outstandingly brave people. I said that the other day.
I know.
I've only met great people. I've only met inspiring people. And I've only been humbled by the ability of our soldiers to give.
And you also told your inspiration is Subhash Chandra Bose.
Has been for ages.
Netaji.
One podcast I was asked, you know, sir, if you rewind and you were raising the same counter-terrorism unit, you could pick anybody from history to be your second in command. Who would you pick? I said Subhash Chandra Bose and I promptly corrected while you only gave me a choice of 2IC. I said, I don't want him as 2IC. You know, I'm not worthy enough to have him as my 2IC, but I would do anything to have him as my charioteer. He will be the Lord Krishna to what I have to be. He will counsel me, guide me, mentor me, advise me, inspire me. He can be my 2IC because you don't give him any other choice. But I said, he cannot be my 2IC. I will always be his follower because what he did, when he did, how he did, remarkable.
Remarkable. I agree with you.
Remarkable. There are many others who did other remarkable things, but we are talking about the window is only one.
Correct.
When we talk about others, we'll find other things.
Correct.
But what he did was just fantastic. And I researched a lot about him, and everything that you learn is a Vakya. How did he do it?
Correct. At that time.
At that time.
I agree.
So, anyway, this was in the southern part of Kashmir, not in the north of Kashmir, which means south of Pir Panjal. Very, very difficult mountainous terrain. So, I'll cut this long story very short.
Sure.
And we had an operation in which a Jawan was shot badly. The doctor, our doctor who was treating him, actually said, sir, from what I administered first aid, chance is very low. So next day morning, helicopter came, picked up this casualty. We were in that village for 5 days. 5 days and 5 nights.
Wow. Doing the operation.
Searching the village. That is how difficult it is to search villages.
I can imagine.
And no food, no water, nothing. Everything what was in us was what was with us.
So the local people don't give you anything.
You can't ask. You don't know what they'll give you. You don't ask because that's not a relationship we get into with them at that point. At that point. Of course, we had some emergency rations and something, chocolates, dates, normal stuff we carry. There's a routine, some 1 day's emergency ration. All that was there, but it finishes in 24 hours.
Correct.
We couldn't get a resupply for whatever reasons. Anyway, 5 days, 5 nights we stayed there. There were 5 terrorists in that village. We neutralized all of them in different houses. So actually 5 operations we had to do because every terrorist is a complex operation.
Correct. And in different locations.
See, the masjid operation which I recounted, even if there had been only one terrorist there, it would have involved the same kind of activity. Correct. Or the same stress or the same time. Correct. So anyway, we found 5 killed, came back to the base and with greatest of difficulty we got through to the hospital. And I got through to the hospital and I asked that nurse, Banda kaisa hai? Means, how's our soldier? She said, sir, he's okay. Now, I've been walking for 6 days and 6 nights. I had not slept, I had not eaten. My nervous energy was at beyond peak. My tolerance to indifference or, wishy-washy answers was non-existent. But we had got through with greatest of difficulty and she was the nurse in the ICU. I sensed her hesitation in being able to commit. But I still wanted to hear that he is doing well. That is the commanding officer in me and my buddy. So something happened and she said, sir, please don't shout.
To you. Mm.
And she was a lieutenant and I was a lieutenant colonel. Ownership. She owned that ICU where she was on duty. So she's telling me, you shout, there are other patients here. It's my ICU. You cannot raise your voice here. So I actually told her, Sarla Devi, that was her name. I told her, I'm sorry. I asked her again, politely this time, Banda kaisa hai? So she said, sir, he has not spoken since he's come. I said, what are his injuries? Because we didn't even have time to examine his injuries. It was 11 o'clock at night when we reached him. I went into the village, next day morning, helicopter picked him up. So I couldn't talk anything to him. She said, sir, his femur has fragmented at 2 places. Now, you know, but the audience may not know. When a femur breaks, it breaks like this.
Thigh bone.
Yeah, that's the biggest bone along the thigh, the biggest bone in the human body also. When it fragments like this. Multiple pieces. So his femur was shot at 2 places and had fragmented. So which is why the doctor had told me, sir, wherever I'm cutting, I'm seeing blood. So when he was cutting away the fabric of the trouser to apply first aid, he could only see blood. So that is the femur. The bulletproof vest has protection in front and protection behind.
Not on the side.
It doesn't have on the side. So he was shot in the side. Now, the front of a bullet is like the front end of a pencil. This much. Now, a bullet hole makes an entry. It makes a very, 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 very small entry. Smaller than most bindis which women wear. Many times you cannot see the bullet entry at all. You can miss it unless you examine very closely. So he was shot on his side. 4 bullets, 5 bullets, 6 bullets, nobody knows. Now the damn bullet comes in a straight line, but doesn't exit the body in a straight line. So what were 4 or 5 small holes here was a hole the size of a baseball on his right side.
Whoa. Tavada.
Yes. So the truth is that all his insides had spilt out. And the doctor, when he was put into the helicopter, his insides were actually packed in a polythene bag. There was no ice, there was nothing. Now we couldn't have put it back because when it falls on the ground, there is grass, there is gunpowder, there is mud, there is all kinds of impurities.
Correct.
This is why the doctor said, sir, there is probably... So anyway, that was that. Now when his thigh bone was broken, the femur at 2 places, he fell down. And how much he fell, nobody knows.
So from a height.
Nobody knows how
Nobody
much he
knows.
fell. He may have fallen 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet. But when he fell, his chest hit a rock like that. And when your chest hits that rock, your chest is actually covered by that iron plate. When that rock hits that iron plate, it magnifies the intensity of the injury and now becomes a serious blunt force. So there was no external injury, but the edge of the iron had crushed 5 of his ribs. So 5 ribs had fractured. His left lung was punctured at 5 places or maybe 4 places, and the body fluid had entered the lungs, left lung. She told me these are his injuries. Now when she told me these injuries, whatever nervous energy I had was like a deflated balloon, instant deflated balloon. So I asked her, will he live or die? Now, when a patient's relative asks you that question, you can only say, the next 24 hours are crucial. We have to watch for 48 hours. I cannot say anything, ma'am. Let's hope for the best. These are normal answers. Now, you can never say he will die.
Correct.
Because you don't give up till the last moment.
Correct.
So she said, sir, I don't know. So I said, can I speak to him? So we are sentimental people. I keep telling you that we operate in that 25% which is above that 100% which normal human beings operate. So that 25% is all about heart, emotion, sentiment, the intangible things. So I thought that if I can speak to him and convey the wishes of the 800 men in the unit, it will help him get better. That's a sentimental. Medically, it is,
No logic.
It is bullshit. You cannot prove it. I mean, you can prove that it is wrong, but you cannot disprove it. But you cannot disprove it.
No, I will tell you that energy is amazing. Yeah.
I'm just saying that is how. So she said, sir, I don't know if he can hear you. She said, sir, he's been here now 6 days. He has not spoken a word. I don't know if he can hear you. I don't know if he can speak. However, his eyes are open. And I can put the handset near his ear. So I said, please put that. So she put the handset near his ear and I asked him, Nimbaram. That was his name. Nimbaram from Sikar district of Rajasthan. And I asked him, Nimbaram, kya haal hai tere? How are you, son? 10 seconds, no reply. So I thought, the nurse was right. He either cannot hear me or worse, he can hear me and he wants to speak, but he cannot speak because there's probably a pipe here. I don't know. With all those injuries and surgeries, I was about to give the handset to the operator and say, this is, I've done what I could. It's a loss at the end of it. We had killed 5 terrorists. But I will ask you, is 5 terrorists killing equivalent to the loss of a Jawan dying? I don't know. I mean, I'm quite clear it's not. Failure is a failure. This is not a failing, this is a failure. And it's my failure. It happened on my watch. I have to believe it's my failure. Now, when 2 people are firing, somebody will get shot. But if it's happened on my watch, it's still failure. So for me, it was failure then. I was about to put the handset away when I heard a very, very thin voice, and I'll say it in Hindi and I'll translate it for your audience. After all these injuries, he's telling me, Saab, पेट में थोड़ी सी तकलीफ है.
Amazing.
which means that after all these injuries, he's telling me, sir, I have a small ache in my stomach.
Amazing.
I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry or to feel proud or to feel privileged that I have the luxury of having such a member in my team and the privilege of walking alongside a soldier or a human being as great as this. I was also sad that he's so badly injured because I knew that even if he gets better, he will never be a soldier combat again. Um, all these emotions rushing through my mind in those 5, 7, 10 seconds of talking. I had nothing more to tell him. I didn't know what do you tell. Didn't know what to tell. In the thinnest voice, I hear him say, कि साहब पलटन के बाकी बंदे कैसे हैं? Which means that he's not on the doorstep of death. Both his legs are on the other side, metaphorically, on the other side of death. You know, he's holding on by that faint sliver of hope or spirit or whatever you can call it. And his concern is for the well-being of the rest of his team. This is priceless. But I want to tell your audience, this is the story of the Indian soldier. This is why we work with pride. If you were to ask me, why did I leave that famous engineering college and join the Indian Army? Listen to the story and then will you still ask me that same question?
I'm going to ask you that same question. Which is that famous engineering college that you left?
That's another long story. This was many years back in 1981, but we will not talk about that.
Just tell me.
Nimbaram's story. There are so many Nimbarams in our army. Are we able to celebrate all of them? No. Should we celebrate as many of them as possible? Yes. How do we know who's a real Nimbaram and who's not a real Nimbaram? You don't know. Are there many people in our army who may not have seen combat, but we will talk of having seen combat? Yes. That's par for the course, and you have to just take it with a grain. My request to all of India through your channel and your medium, your viewers is, when you see a soldier, all that you need to do is to shake his hand and say thank you. If you're sitting at a place where there's a cup of tea, you ask him, chai piyoge aap? You know, can I buy you a cup of tea? He will probably buy you a cup of tea. And that cup of tea will be something that you will remember all your life. That is all that I ask. Nothing more. Nothing more. So that's the story of Nimbara.
Amazing, amazing. So before we close, we have to tell the audience in 2 minutes which was that famous engineering college that you didn't go to. We have to tell that. That I kept it for the climax, and then we'll wind down. Guys, you have to hear this.
So I'm constantly asked, why did I leave IIT Madras and join the National Defence Academy? So I've said this many times, look at my life. I've been to 74 countries.
74?
Yeah. I have had the luxury of representing India in 3 different missions of the United Nations. I have had the luxury of briefing the United Nations Security Council on India's point of view.
Oh, really?
I have had the luxury of working in the office of the Secretary General of the United Nations for a short period of time. I've had the luxury of doing a postmaster's 13-month educational program at Australia's topmost educational facility. I have traveled to every part of this country. I have heard the music of every region of India. I have seen the costumes and the wonderful array of fabrics of every part of India. I have tasted the food of every part of India. I have sampled the culture, the fanfare, the colors, the tradition, the festivals of every part of India. Which engineer has done all these things? And you still want to ask me why I left? I'll tell you this much. Having known how things are now, if I had to rewind the clock, knowing that things would unfold in this manner, I would still leave. Not once, but 5,000 times.
IIT ranked 13.
Metaphorically, the flag is imprinted in our DNA.
Correct.
So I can dramatize it and tell you, आप X-ray निकालो आपको तिरंगा नजर आएगा. But that is dramatizing, cinematography. But the fact is, you will see nationalism in every action that a soldier takes. You will see it. 99% of the time. Because we are human beings, we also make mistakes. But conceptually, principally, we don't make mistakes. And that's why we are probably the most significant nation builders.
So I think what I'm getting after this conversation is, if all of us, 1.45 or 1.5 billion Indians, get the Tiranga in our DNA like this, I think Viksit Bharat is a done deal.
Done deal.
It's a
We
done
don't
deal.
have to talk about it.
Yes,
It'll
it's
happen.
a done deal, guys. If you follow all that principles he has said, what the Indian Armed Forces does, get the Tiranga, wear it on your sleeve, and make that difference to be willing to give up your life for the country. I'm not saying physically, figuratively, do everything that's required. I am telling you, as a nation, we will beat the world. General Saab, thank you very much. It was a fabulous conversation that we have. We finished on a perfect high on Republic Day. We are committing through the two of us to all our viewers, guys. Commit yourself to Viksit Bharat 2047. And like how we have met so many of our targets beforehand, like the solar energy and things like that, let us do it earlier. The earlier, the better. Without compromising on ethics, without compromising on the principles, let's do it the right way. I think we were a great nation in the past. We can get there. Thank you. Signing off from the podcast of studio of Rebooting the Brain. Jai Hind. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind.
So, General Saab, we have a customary thing of giving a book to all our guests. Rebooting the Brain, written by me and my wife.
Awesome.
Please accept it as a token of our appreciation. You have rebooted our brains. So, I think the smallest thing that we can do to do this for you and your team. Thank you for being who you are and what you have done.
Awesome. I will look forward to reading this book. And I must tell you, it's been my privilege to be on this podcast.
Why do you say that?
You are not a commoner. In the field of doctors, in the field of medicine, in the field of surgery, neurosurgeons sit fairly high in the pecking order. Within the family of neurosurgeons, you sit at a pretty high place. Everybody knows you as the guitar surgeon. Before I met you, I knew of you.
Really?
Yes, I knew there was some surgeon who was the guitar surgeon. I knew that it was the first time it was being done in India, but it probably done somewhere in Spain or some other place before. But I didn't know it was you. So meeting you was a pleasure then. And by inviting me to be a guest on your podcast, I think you've done me a privilege. So I'm very grateful for
that. Sir, the feeling is mutual at the end of the day. Ever since I saw you, I thought we have to get, people like this to inspire, the next generation to really build Viksit.
No, awesome.
And we'll love to hear your feedback on this.
Yeah, of course, I will.
Thank you so much.